wrong with it? Thank you. Morning time, long weeks to do. Yeah. But I've been waiting on heaps to that. So what are you going to put up the agenda? I don't start doing it yet. Yes. I think it's good because if it comes out of a meal, it's unfortunately responsible knowledge. Yeah. Can we get the DHS out there? DHS out there and say, they're in your water. Fucking commission homecoming. Okay, yep. Yeah. That would not surprise me at all. That's them for you. Yes, probably not. You like a salad?
Turn our audio on so people can actually hear us. And we should be live, providing the image isn't frozen.
Are you still going?
I was reading GK Man's comments. I'm sure hope the images are supposed to be multicolored, otherwise I'm going bonkers. And you can hear us. Cool. Everything's working in.
So we want.
Yep. So, before we start, couple little housekeeping notes. So, yes, classes are in the works and underway. As soon as I quickly finish this order for Deviant and do an extra 3 I've got to send out, 1 to DEFCON 201 with the Viking bands, 1 to Lady Locks, and 1 to Lock Noob that I've promised. Then I can finish getting stuck into all the classwork, and then Darryl can start on his part of the classwork for the cyber side of things. Isn't that right?
Hopefully.
Once we finish doing the busy stuff we've got on right at the moment. The other thing is the private Discord server, so that is where the classes will be getting run through, the online classes. It will be a completely separate part in there that only students will be able to access. So that's there, or will be there. Don't forget to check out the website, dalp.com.au, which there's the thing down the bottom just here. It says our website. What else is on the housekeeping notes? As promised with our live streams, wanted to give a massive thank you to our channel memberships, or our channel members, I should state. And don't forget, you can help support the channel. Now we've got a QR code down that side of the screen, which is the tips for PayPal, since YouTube here likes to take a big cut out of our donations on here. I mean, a big cut, because they got to get their money somehow. So we have put the PayPal one if you'd like to support the channel, but we also do recommend joining the DALP members, the channel memberships. There are 2 levels available. The first one is just a basic, where you get shout outs in the videos. You can see behind the scenes stuff. I've got to post some more stuff up on there. I haven't done that in a little while. And the second level, and you get access to different badges and emojis, and not to mention the Pat badge that we actually finally brought out. The Pat badge, or it's actually just a emoji sticker thing, which is Postman Pat. For Pat, who paid us so much money to drink. Way too much, and then had to drive all the way to Adelaide hungover. And the second level on the channel memberships will give you access to the DALP Discord server, where we post some interesting stuff, some heaps of topics on there. Not to mention our products before they actually get released up on the website, before we let the general public know. We do put them up on the DALP server prior, so that people can get a little heads up before everyone else does. So there are some perks and bonuses to joining the channel memberships. So I think that pretty much covers all of our housekeeping to begin with, unless there's anything that Darryl wants to add in at the moment.
No, I think you covered most of that.
No, I think that covers everything. So, the DALP Live Q&A. My phone doesn't go off. I might put that on silent. Because that's work messaging and I don't want my phone going off. So yes, the DALP Live Q&A, since it's been a bloody long time since we've done a live stream, we thought we'd better get around to doing one. And if anyone has any questions that they would like us to try and answer, whether it's about physical entry methods or cybersecurity, which is that guy's expert, well, that guy's, yeah, I'm trying to work out which way. I'm looking at this monitor and that monitor. So yeah, if you got any questions you would like us to try and answer, doesn't even have to be about security stuff. It could be like physical or cybersecurity. It could be about security guards or what Darryl does in his spare time.
Drink. What?
Drink. So put them in the comment section. If you would like to call them in, like we've had in the past, where Pat called up and we may have been incredibly intoxicated at that stage. Let us know. But, Darryl, question for you. What have you been working on lately?
Just a lot of security work. Being flat out, we've just got unreliable guards. So the boss would have had to pick up the slack. Been doing some website for a couple of clients, with a couple of clients doing that sort of stuff. What else? Working on some cars. That's about it. Eat, sleep, and repeat.
Yep. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Minus the heaps of sleeping part.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're in your own business, unfortunately. You don't get a choice no matter, you just have to do the jobs.
Yep. Like I put up on my Snapchat stories, it's like my weekend spent it out working in the shop because I don't take a day off.
Yeah.
Or,
That's the thing. People just don't understand. Like, when you run your own business, you need to do the work. Small businesses can't afford to pay somebody to sit there and do the nitpicky stuff.
yep.
You don't make a business out of it. So, unfortunately, you as the owner have to do the entire work yourself. So,
Yes.
it doesn't. If you want to make money, then you need to do the work.
Yep. It's not just the fact of not being able to afford to pay someone, it's also the fact of, like, that's not just one aspect when it comes to running the business. There's the production of products and stuff like that, but there's also all the other boring stuff like accounting and working on content for the YouTube channel here, plus everything else. It's not just, like, I'm going to start up a business, I'm going to make some, sell some products. No, you got to make them. You got to make sure that your inventory's up to scratch, which I know I'm behind on a few products up on the website. It's, you are literally every part of the machine.
Yep.
I've got to cut the keys. I've got to post off all the orders. I've got to make sure that my balances are all up to date, which I've just done. Because it's tax time here, and I got a really bad tax return, unfortunately.
That either though, like, it's follow-ups. So we go and do training somewhere. You've got all those follow-ups to maintain the clients. Make sure that they're happy. Make sure that we haven't missed something with them, and then trying to keep that business relationship open and moving forward, so you can continue to do more work for them.
Yep.
And that's what I don't see behind the back end of it all is there's a lot of other things that you have to do running a business. It's not just sit there in front of a computer screen and make videos.
Yep. And a lot of the work as well was unpaid work.
Yep. Unfortunately, what happens when you run your own business is your time is your most valuable asset, and you don't get paid for that.
No, not for a lot of things. Classes, we get paid for our time. But saying that,
you've still got all that lead up though, like the prep time, travel time. For example, when we went over to Adelaide, I come down the day before to stay at your place. We then make sure we had everything loaded up. I had to make sure that we didn't forget anything. But that's still time that people don't see. It's not like we can just jump in a vehicle and go somewhere.
Yep.
Because each course is different. Our clients are always different, so they may have different requirements to what the next class is. So you've got to make sure you don't leave anything behind, especially when you're travelling a state away. Yep. You can't afford not to leave something behind.
Yep. And I mean, when we teach the classes themselves, like, for example, the Adelaide class that we did, the class and everything over there we got paid for, but the amount of work that we had to put in beforehand, the amount of locks I had to prepare for 200 students, and make sure that I had all the little kick holders for them, the little 3D printed ones. So I had to print out heaps of those and clean them all up and make sure the locks all fit in them. Making sure all of our equipment was prepped and organised for each station that we had set up. So all the lock picking equipment was all stocked up. All the bump keys I had to cut because they do get damaged and broken. Don't think I've taught a class yet where bump keys haven't been broken. So because they're not, they don't know what they're doing. They're there to have fun and learn. And of course, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to break stuff. We're lucky we really haven't had many lockpicks broken. Maybe one or two. But bump keys do get broken because they're striking them at the wrong angles and stuff like that. So cutting all the bump keys and making sure that our books were all done, all the information was put in there. So there was a lot beforehand. Like there was a couple of weeks of solid work where I was only sleeping for maybe 3 hours. Plus working full time as well. That's another job to be able to survive and stuff like that, because it's the way that everything is at the moment. So there is a lot that goes into it before people realize. My content amount has dropped down because of the amount of work I've been putting in the background on other stuff. I can't just stand around, recording videos all day because I've got products to stock up and orders to post out and get these classes on the way, because I actually had quite a few people putting in messages about them, about the general public. So there's some areas will suffer, but at the same time some don't, because our content creation might drop down, but our products and services go up, and it's kind of like trying to get this balance of both, which can be quite difficult. The other thing is, like, for example, our Adelaide class was a different setup to our Melbourne class. So, and one of the biggest things, the biggest thumbs up, and everyone really liked the most, was Dob.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, the amount of work I had to put in to get Dob set up. The door of brutality. Dobby. As Darryl called it. We got the bobs, the boards of brutality. We now have the door of brutality. But that was probably our biggest thing there. Not just size-wise. But like the amount of people that liked it.
Yeah. You've got to start with a big picture. Like, we're training people to use these devices. Someone that's inexperienced is going to break something. They're not going to be able to pull something off straight away. Like, you look at the basics to slipping a latch. It still takes practice. That's still wear and tear on components. Tools to do that job as well. Things get bent, broken, lost. So it's always an ongoing thing. And then you may come across something while you're doing training and go, well, we can improve that. And then you're now modifying what you've already got.
Yep.
So these things are always ongoing. There's never you're completely done.
Yep. But I mean, like, the Dob was the biggest thing. And it's not like getting the equipment isn't cheap, especially when you got to make it yourself. I had to go and buy a door. I then had to cut the door in half. Well, actually, a little bit over half. And then build the frame, buy the hardware, install it all, work out the legs for it, which I've still got to fix because they're not quite right. But everyone absolutely loved the fact that they could actually attack a working door. They could see all 4 attack locations on the door, and stuff like that. So, the outlying cost for that, it wasn't cheap, I admit. The actual buying an actual whole door and cutting it off is a lot cheaper than looking at building one just from plywood. I looked at the cost of plywood and stuff like that to actually build a working door, and it was going to cost way more than actually just buying a door. So I went with the better alternative, which was buying a door. Then buying all the lumber and everything to build the frame. Not to mention trying to do all that with my foot in a boot, because that's when I had the shattered ankle. And stuff like that. And then Darryl had to drive all the way from up north down at 3 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, get here by 7. We had to drive all the way over to Melbourne, drive all the way back to Ballarat, and then he had to drive all the way back up north again, and stuff like that. So that's the parts of teaching classes that people don't see, and the part of the business. And now one of the great things, and I'll get Darryl's opinion on this one as well. One of the absolute great things about the DOB. So don't get me wrong, the boards of brutality are fantastic. People can pick them, they can bump them, they can use the electric pick guns on them, and stuff like that. They're great, but they're not going to give you a working field attempt at a attack. Whereas the DOB is more designed for field applications. So you can actually have a go on an actual door that moves. You can't really go using an under door tool on one of the bobs because there's nothing to attack. Whereas the DOB gives you the chance to actually use, and people are having to go at the under door tool, hooking onto the door handle and pulling down to open the door. So it gives you a much more field operation view rather than just your Locksport picking kind of view, which the kicks and holders at the right angles and the DOBs, or the bobs, I should say, kind of give you. So what are your thoughts on that part of it as well, like the door versus the other equipment that we have?
But and like in saying that too, it's great to be able to sit there and give them a PowerPoint presentation and say, this is how you should do it, until I actually get there and feel how the equipment works in relationship to opening a handle from the inside without being able to see it. So going by feel to slide the strings over the little handles to pull them open. That's where a lot of people get the majority of the excitement from doing those courses, is being able to feel the reality of what they need to do.
Yep.
Not just sit there and watch a video on it or have someone tell them how they should do it.
Yep. That is the biggest thing as well that we get, and stuff like that, where new pickers, they're like, I thought it was kind of going to be easy, and then you get the other ones that go, I thought this was going to be, really easy, but it's actually quite difficult, and stuff like that. But being able to actually having a lock in a holder with no tension to it at all is one thing. Locksport, don't get me wrong, love Locksport, it's fantastic, highly recommend it. It's how I started. But picking a lock in a vise at the right angle with the right lighting and everything is completely different to picking a lock out in the field. And being able to actually pick a lock on a door that's actually got tension to it, compared to in a vise and stuff like that. So there is those two big differences that people get to learn. The other thing is, like, we talk about attacking a latch, and we had multiple tools for people to attack the latch on DOB. So we had traveler's hooks, we had the traditional Slim Jims, I had the Peterson bypass knife, the big long Peterson tool to slide down. They had to go with all of those, even the Viking Slim Jim bands. That's the first thing I demonstrated, was like, we've got a door here, it's locked as you can see, but what do you notice? And we asked, what do you notice? And they're like, oh, you can see the latch. I'm like, yeah, it's a spring-loaded latch. Is it installed correctly? I said, because when I actually built this, I didn't install it correctly on purpose, as much as it really went against what I like to do, which is fix things and install them correctly. It went against everything in me to install it wrong. I said, but I did that for a reason, so that you can actually see that, okay, well, it's not engaged properly, and they can take the Viking Slim. I took the Viking Slim Jim band off, went, oh yeah, bent it out, slipped the door latch, and I actually had that many people go, can you do it again, but slow it down so we can see? The same thing with the travel hook. I went in, I'm like, to take the travel hook, you go in and go like that, and I open the door in a second. They're like, right, can you slow that down so we can actually see what you're doing? And I'm like, well, this is how easy it really is. But, the hands-on part of it, they are absolutely mind-blown by it. And I'll probably guess about 80 to 90% of people, when they do our fun day class, like training for businesses, that have never picked the lock before, between Darryl might have, a different opinion, but for me, it's between 80 and 90% of people, we will get them an open on a lock.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what people don't understand. It's not hard once you understand the basic fundamentals behind what they're doing. Then it's just practice, and that's what the majority of our time is. Teach them the basics, then let them spend the rest of the time doing it, and then it's just once they do get that open, is reward them for that. Make sure that they are acknowledged. Yeah,
we gave away the class in Adelaide. We gave away over $100 worth of vouchers for the website. To people who demonstrated and actually had a go at everything and was pretty successful with everything they did. We even gave away to one guy who he had done some lock picking. He knew the basics of lock picking, and he actually picked like a Master 140 and 150, which contains spool pins. Which he was a bit, he was like, it gave me a little bit of a challenge. He even picked some of the higher security lockwoods that we had there, and stuff like that. And he ended up getting a voucher for it. So, we do reward with the classes we teach. But in talking about that, the online classes that we're going to be running, so the ones that I mentioned at the start of this one, did housekeeping, and in our last video that we uploaded, it's going to be way more involved and way more in-depth than what we actually train to businesses. So businesses, we only have a short period of time to actually train and teach people. With the online classes, we're focusing on much more in detail and much more in-depth class structure. And one of the things that I really want to focus on is we're going to have the two sections. So we're going to have what I specialize in, which is the physical entry side of things. And then we're going to have the cyber side of things, which Darryl is better at than me. I dabble, he's better. But also, we're not just going to look at the Locksport, where we're going to have you picking in a vice and stuff like that. We're going to have a look at the field applications of stuff as well. So, like when we teach businesses, we don't look at the Locksport side of things. We tell them, there is such thing as Locksport, and this is how you pick locks, and the fun side of things. But we also break down and explain the field side of things. So the field operations. So we're like, okay, you can pick a lock. Don't get us wrong. It's a great way of getting in. But these are the methods that we actually use, which is kind of going away from lock picking. We just focus on bypassing because it's a lot easier. 99% of the time. And stuff like that. So that's what the main goal is for the online classes. It's going to be a lot more detailed and in-depth. And we're going to focus on everything from, if you've never picked a lock before and you want to start learning, we're going to have you covered, right through to people who have got the basics and fundamentals of lock picking down, but they want to focus more on the physical entry methods. Or if you're pretty confident, you're pretty skilled in physical entry methods, well then you can just focus primarily on Darryl's side of things, which is the cyber. Where we'll go from the basics on, some basic information for you about hacking, right through to some of the more upskilled and stuff that just blows my mind and I have no idea about, but I pretend to.
Yeah, well, the thing, I think, even getting to the point of being able to set up your own home lab for practicing, having a Windows machine or a Linux machine or a Mac machine that's running other virtual machines, so you can sit there and practice hacking in your own environment and doing it legally.
Yep.
Because that's the only way to learn with cybersecurity stuff is practice.
Yep.
I'm currently sort of in the moment trying to set up my own SOC stuff, so Security Operations Center, running things like the Hive and Wazoo and all that to monitor for threat behavior, analyzing those threat behaviors, analyzing activity logs, looking at all that information that gets passed out on the back end of systems, which is really interesting because it's something that I haven't done a lot of, so it's a big learning curve for me. as well as doing all my other day-to-day stuff, like playing on servers, having virtual machines set up running, playing with different operating systems, and all that sort of stuff. So there's always something to learn, and it comes down to you as the individual. What do you want to get out of it? There's so much information out there, and it's not just us. There's a lot of other great YouTube channels out there that are a lot more advanced than what I am, that can point you in the right direction. As I say to my students when I'm actually teaching classes, don't take what I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research. If you can't find something, let me know and I will find it so you can read it yourself. That's one thing that I've prided myself for many, many years as a security trainer, and not just security, but a lot of other aspects. Be honest with people. We are all human. We don't know everything.
Yep.
And in cybersecurity, for example, computers and even physical entry, things change. Locks are constantly changing. Pinning systems are always changing. You need to stay up to date. You need to keep practicing.
Yep, working on new bypasses, learning new bypasses.
Well, and you and I have had a big discussion about it too, is what product can we create to sell that people are going to be able to use efficiently and effectively, that we can use covertly, to be able to to make people's lives easier. So you don't have to carry big, thick, bloody lockpick kits around to do a basic job.
That's the other one I haven't made in a long time, but I've actually got it in my jacket, which I completely forgot about until I grabbed this jacket out of storage. The escape brake set. I've got it pinned on the inside of this jacket at all times. I
carry it all the time.
Yep, I completely forgot it was there, but I have it on me all the time if I wear this jacket.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why I wanted to, not just because a lot of people are asking, like the general public, when are you going to have classes for the general public? When are you going to have classes for general? It's not that easy to get a class for the general public, because Australia is so bloody big. We are so spaced out. For example, there's 4 hours between, about four and a half, between Darryl and myself. Adelaide was a 8-hour drive, 7.5 to 8 hour drive.
Yep.
If we go up to Canberra, that's an 8-hour drive for me, only 3 hours for Darryl. So he's closer than me, but that's the thing, like we are so spaced out. Not to mention the fact that we then would have to hire a facility in order to be able to teach classes, whereas for businesses, 90% of businesses will have an area where we can actually set up and train the classes, like a conference room or a loading bay area, which we've taught a class in. So, we'd have to find a facility, we'd have to hire tables and all that stuff to get classes set up for the general public. And then everyone would have to try and find, like the time to get to the physical class. Whereas running the classes online for the general public, you can learn at your own pace. We know with teaching and training and stuff like that everyone learns at a different pace. Everyone learns differently. It may take one person that fast to withhold the information and actually be able to do it. And it might take the other person 6 hours before they even get it. We see that when we do the fun days and heaps of people going around all the different sections, and some of them get the locks open in seconds and other ones are literally there for the whole training session trying to get that one lock open. Even though we're explaining and it's like, lighten up, a little bit more tension, lighten up, a little bit more, and stuff like that. Everyone learns at a different rate. So the good thing about the online classes is the fact that you can learn at your own pace. If you want to smash through the class in a week, through all the pre-recorded stuff, you can do that. Or, if you want to space it out, over 6 months, you can do it over 6 months. And stuff like that, learn at your own rate, pretty much.
go back and have a look at it over and over and over.
Yep.
Like once you've done it and you go, oh crap, I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. Go back, watch it again, practice and practice.
Yep. And, you know, if you work a full-time job, you'll work 9 to 5, you can't get into a class during the week. Well, the great thing about the online stuff is you can do it in your spare time as well.
Yep.
Where the format that I'm looking at, that we're talking about and looking at with the online classes is having all the different topics down the side that you can access, whether it's the physical entry stuff or the cyber stuff. If you want to primarily focus on either one, or do the whole lot, which we highly recommend because they go hand in hand. So we have heaps of pre-recorded videos on the topics, but not just that, we'll also have the Word documents that you can actually read through. Oh, excuse me. And we'll also run live classes. So similar to what we do with a live stream kind of thing here. There'll be Darryl and myself, or if it's just something that I'm teaching, just myself, or it's something that just Darryl's teaching, just Darryl. And you can join in on the Discord server in the class section on a video chat like this, where Darryl's actually going through step by step about what he's doing kind of thing. And you can literally ask questions. You can ask a question and get an answer. Like what we're doing in this live stream. You put in a question, we'll give you the best answer that we can. So there's a lot more ups to an online class in that format. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing it. And yes, we will notify everyone as soon as they are live. It may take a little while to get everything up and running and all the content done and stuff like that. But yeah, it's what we do is education. What we like is education. So the general public's asking, we're delivering.
And that's the thing, like we like to get the feedback from you guys as well. We like to know what you want, what you're interested in, because the stuff that we provide is so vast. There's a lot of information that we can give you, and it covers a large variety of topics. It makes it hard for us to be able to provide information to each and every person if we don't know what you want to learn. So that feedback really helps. Like I know James has put up some polls on that recently, and we haven't had a lot of feedback in it. That sort of makes it harder for us to go, well, this is what you guys want. This is what we can deliver. We'd rather give you something that you're going to take the time to look at and do than give you something you look at and go, oh, I can't be bothered with that. It's too hard, or I'm not interested, or whatever. Yeah. It's so much easier for us to give you something you want to look at.
Yep.
It creates better topics for us to talk about because we're getting that interaction from everybody, not just James and me sitting here waffling on.
Which we could do for hours. Quite easily.
Money in.
Quite easily we could waffle on for hours, especially if we get drinks involved.
Yeah.
And stuff. I remember a long time ago, I was going to do a live Q&A. Well, not a live Q&A, but a pre-recorded one. And I put questions out there. And there was one question that I got. I never got around to doing a video on it and answering it. But there's one question that still sticks into my head to this day, which I never got around to answering, which was by a good friend of mine, Tim, who runs Lockpicking Patrolman on YouTube. And he's also a part of the Three Tumblers podcast. He went from working as a police officer into the locksmith industry. And he wanted my thoughts and what I have noticed going from Locksport into locksmithing. What was the biggest thing that I noticed? And as I tell people, I talk to people about this kind of stuff when we teach classes. I always say I started off in Locksport and now run DALP and do what I do here. But the biggest thing that I can actually put out there is the pressure. The pressure from going, when I'm just doing Locksport and I'm recording videos, I can do 50 to 100 videos on one lock to get a video that I'm happy with. Out in the field, I have pressure. I can't take 50 to 100 attempts to get somebody into their house or into their car. It's not that easy. As I might make it look really easy on YouTube. Like, oh, here we go, the lock here, boom, it's open. Because I know what the lock's picking is like. You normally do a lot of practice on a lock before you do it on video to make sure you can actually get it. We make sure the lock's cleaned and it's lubricated well and it's at the right angle and the right lighting. Out in the field, you don't get that. Not to mention, I don't have that pressure on me doing a video, trying to get content. Because I'm like, if I don't get it today, I can work on it tomorrow. If I don't get it tomorrow, it can take me a week to get a video done. Out in the field, I don't have that freeness. It's like, I can't just say to somebody, look, really sorry, can't get you into your house today. I'll come back and try again tomorrow. Or I'll come back in a week. Once we've got good lighting and the weather's warm and I'm not shivering trying to pick you up, there's a big difference. That is the main thing that I have noticed, is the change in pressure when it goes from, Locksport to locksmithing side of things. Is the pressure and that amount of... There's a cat in the box. There's a cat in the box. So yeah, it's that pressure that is lifted off you when you're doing Locksport compared to locksmithing.
And it's one of those things too. You don't have the luxury of sitting and saying, "Oh well, this lock's hard. I can't get it open today." The client and customer's expectations of you to open that lock are high. Like, the pressure is there for you to do the job and do it quickly and as efficiently as possible.
They're not going to want to pay me for a 3-hour lockout. They want me done within 10 minutes or 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the max, 5 minutes for them to get into their house.
Yeah, and that's sort of where you as the locksmith need to be very adaptive with what you do. And if you can't get it open by raking it, do you go to single picking it? Do you try and bypass it? If none of that works, do you go to electric pick guns? You've got to have a variety of tools and
skills,
means of being able to get into something.
Yep.
So when the customer's standing there watching you do the job, you need to be as professional as possible to go, okay, well, this isn't working. That's okay. I'll try this.
One of the things that better helps prepare you, and one of the parts that I really want to drum into this online course, and we kind of touched on it without actually mentioning it earlier, which is one of my favourite sayings that was ever told to me by a good friend of mine on Instagram. Skypyro Actual says it, and Pat from Uncensored Tactical says it, is get comfortable being uncomfortable. And it's one of the things I really want to push in this training is not everything's going to go your way. Being able to perform in an uncomfortable situation. You could be, jammed right up against the door frame. As Darryl saying, you've got someone looking over your shoulder trying to tell you what to do. The extra pressure that's on top of you. It could be dark and you can't see what you're doing. The lock might be really jammed up and gummed up and stuff like that. You need to not just practice on, perfect cylinders, brand new locks that, perfectly cleaned and lubricated and all that. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's why I've said lately in one of my videos and stuff like that is the reason why you don't see me doing a whole lot of lock picking anymore on videos is because I primarily focus on locks that I come across here, locks that I have to be consistent with picking on. So it's no good me going, today we've got a Lockwood rim cylinder, and then today we've got a Lockwood rim cylinder. Today we've got you're going to get bored with it. But that is the downside that people don't actually see is practicing on the locks that I come across all the time. Because if I'm like, I just let my skills drop, I don't need to worry about that. And then the situation comes up where I need to be able to, get into those locks, and I let my skills on those locks drop, the customers are not going to be happy. So yeah,
maybe that's something to look at as well. Like, do people want to see how to maintain their lock? Is that something that people can be interested in? Is not just we talk all about picking locks, bypassing locks. Is it something worthwhile for us to going into? How is the lock supposed to be fitted correctly so people know how to do it properly instead of just us sitting and saying, "Oh, incorrectly fitted locks." Well, what is that? Maybe that's something people want to see, that side of where we can show how to maintain your locks, how to keep them well greased, make sure that they've got them out of the weather.
Don't use WD-40.
Yeah.
And don't use graphite.
Yeah.
Whatever you do not use graphite. I
But
hate
look,
this
that's
stuff.
maybe something that we could go into, because I know we do talk a lot about all these things that allow us to get into places quickly and efficiently. But if that's something that our audience want to look at, is maybe we should do a series on how to maintain your locks.
Yep.
Are people interested in how to refit a lock?
Yep. Put them in the comment section down below. Let us know.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like all this sort of stuff is valuable information, but once again, if you're not interested in it, it's not worth us putting it out.
Yep.
No, I probably
That's the thing. That is the thing. You know, like what I might find really interesting, other people might find boring as anything. What Darryl might find really interesting, other people might find boring as anything. Stuff that we might want to cover, you might not want to watch. That's fine. That's completely up to you. You know, like, but we can't do our jobs properly and put information out there without getting the feedback. When we teach the class, we put out a week later. We send them a email with a survey to fill out. I just realised my voice has turned right up. We send them an email a week later with a questionnaire for them to fill out, to get that feedback off the people. And one of the great things was, you know, like the person that hires us, they ask the people that actually did it, and they get people's feedback off of them. You know, like what parts did you enjoy, what parts didn't you enjoy, and stuff like that. Like they actually send it down to the people that actually attend the class and get the hands-on kind of thing. And that kind of feedback is really great. Not to mention when we're teaching the class, we're getting feedback off people all the time. So we know we adapted our class and changed it from the one in Adelaide. We got rid of parts that didn't work and that people weren't interested in and was too hard to try and monitor, because you need someone with them the whole time for that, like the key casting section that we had set up. That part kind of fell through because it was a lot of moving parts for them to try and take in. Without us being there and there the whole time, we have to move around. So, you know, that feedback is what made us adapt and change our class. You know, the core of our training and the basic fundamentals and the principles don't change, but the way in which we present it.
How we deliver the content to each client. We make it specific to each individual client and the people that we're addressing. If the client wants something done a specific way, then we adjust our training to do that. Because if we don't, the client's not getting what they're after. The training we done in Adelaide, that had a large variety of people in it. There was experienced people in there that still actually learned stuff, because we showed them in a different way that they were looking at or thinking of. And that's the unique thing about training with other adults and other people within those specific industries, is we've all had different experiences. We've all had different stories to tell. And if people can feed off those different experiences, then it makes it easier for people to learn and for them to understand what we're trying to teach them.
Yep. The one I love the most, and I reckon you would agree with me as well, Daryl, is we have everything set up with our classes, and they're all having a go at that, and you always get it. You always get someone go, "What about the lock on our door right there? what about our system right here? How would you get through that?" They can't help themselves, and stuff like that. You know, it's like, oh, you got a buy lock on there. But you also have an RFID system right next to it. But I won't focus on either of them. Like, why? Because you have an electronic strike and a spring-loaded latch. And look, there's a big enough gap where I can just go boop and open. You know, like, they actually ask you then and there, which is one of the great things about teaching businesses, because they can't help themselves. People cannot help themselves. You know, they always have to say, what about this one? What about what we got right here on the wall?
Funny you should say that, because last night I was at the pub doing security, and it got pretty quiet about 11:30 at night. So like, I was there till 1 o'clock in the morning. There was no one around, nothing to do. And we were talking about some of the gadgets that I carry my EDC, and the guys go, "Oh, how would you get through this door?" It's like, see that? I open the door, go to the striker plate, set a deadbolt there. Watch as I slowly shut the door. And guess where it ended up? Inside the hole. It didn't actually attach to the strike plate. And they go, "But that's shut though." I said, "Yeah, but it's not locked." And then, yeah, round the outside we go and flip the latch.
Yep.
They go, but that was installed by a professional. Professional dickhead.
Yeah. That's one of the great things, like our presentations before the classes. We have some pre-recorded videos that we play on there. But not just like, this is how you should hold a lockpick, and this is how to find the correct tension, and the quick breakdown of what picks at what. Because you see people picking up like a kinetic rake, and they're trying to, you know, rock and kind of like try and single pin picking away with it. It's like, no, because they've done it. What they just think, oh, it's a lock pick, you just stick it in there. So we have like quick little videos of this is how to find the tension and what picks of what. But we also have some out in the field stuff. So slipping the video where it's like, look, high security lock, slip the door latch because it's not installed correctly. And we tell people, watch this. What you're going to see here, have a look at the lock. Have a look at the latch. Where do you think I'm going to attack? I'll go for the latch. Going up to an RFID system and pretending to swipe a visitor's badge. I had the RFID credentials because we stole them on my ring. So I just like swipe my ring and open the door. So we have videos set up so that they can actually see some out in the field kind of things, which always gets people's, you know, piques their interest. And I think a lot of it as well is that's why when we teach the classes and they have a go at those methods, they always say, what about this one right here? Because they kind of see what we do, they hear what we're talking about, and they're kind of like, all right, we'll really put you to the test. And stuff like that, like what they always say to us, and people can't help it. You point out one flaw in their security, they kind of tell you how good the security they have in place. You know, like the RFID cards. Oh, these are really heavily encrypted and they can only come from one company. And, you know, you can't just copy these ones and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, cool, mate. Doesn't worry me. I don't care. Because just strike plate's not installed correctly and your latch isn't installed correctly and I can still attack that. I don't care about your high, you know, security, uncrackable bloody RFIDs when it comes right back to the fundamentals. There's always mechanical override, and usually they're not installed correctly.
Well, you go that next step, undo the outer casing on the reader itself, because, you know, they never put the tamper-proof systems in place.
No.
Chuck an ESP behind there, and then capture the credentials, replay it, walk in after them.
Yep.
There's one of those things that there's always a flaw to everything. It's just dependent on whether it's been found or not.
It's like how many people found the hidden security camera that we had in the Melbourne training.
Yeah.
No one. We had a coffee cup sitting there. It was a coffee cup. And yet people were like looking at the stuff. We had the coffee cup sitting right there. They moved it out the way. Just looked at it and went, set it off across to the side. They didn't pick it up, look at it. They just moved it out their way a little bit because we had other stuff around it. But it looked like a real coffee cup because it was a disposable cup and the top of it had coffee stains on it because I actually pre-drank a coffee through that lid and then put it on top of the actual dummy cup. So it had the stain marks where it had dried on and stuff like that. And no one found it.
But that a lot of that too is to do with the pretext as well. Is earlier that morning they asked us for coffees, and it's like, yeah, I'll have a coffee.
Yeah. Because
they've seen you there then drinking it while we're setting up, and it doesn't look out of place when you have another couple of coffee cups sitting around and that, and they actually see you drinking. It just sets up that whole pretext of what it is and why it's there.
Yep. I just
Whereas if it was just a
no
coffee
one
cup,
picked it up, and we actually made a point, like, see that coffee cup sitting over there? You're on camera, and they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. Imagine if it was sitting not far from your PIN code section, where you got to type in a PIN code to get in. Think about that. Just the look of horror on their faces. We're like, that's not a coffee cup. We made that ourselves. It's an ESP. We've actually got two ESP cameras. One of them was built into the coffee cup, and the other one was sitting right next to it. And no one picked up on it. That I actually thought was like really, really funny because the look of horror on their faces when we say, no, that's actually a camera. No one picked up on it. And that's the difference between learning, like Locksport side of things or field operations. And why our training for businesses is incredibly important. Like, these are high security businesses. These are stuff that, security is extremely important to them. And their staff should be pretty educated in, like, good security practices, yet they missed something so simple.
And that's the thing too, like, as a security guard and a security guard trainer, I teach all my students these things. Private investigations, part of the stuff that I do. So doing covert operations, having all these little toys and gadgets just floating around makes it so much easier. If it looks like it belongs there, people aren't going to even bat an eye with that. They're not going to look twice as they walk past something. Whereas if it's something that doesn't fit that environment, then it's going to stand out like dog's balls and people are going to go, what the hell is this? Why is this here? And start investigating a lot more. So it's not just about having all these cool little gadgets. It's setting that pretext to why things are going on. And this comes back to the social engineering. Is having a good cover story. Why are you there? What's the whole thing? And like, yes, as a security guard, I get to go into some really cool places. And that sort of helps us to develop and use tools and toys that we come across in a real world environment.
Yep.
So if you're in a shopping centre after hours and there's no one else around, can you play in an elevator? Yes, you can.
Only if you're allowed to. You got to keep it legal. Yeah. That's why I love it when Darryl sends me photos. He's seen it when we first started working together. He was sending me photos of keys from his students that left them sitting out in the class, and I was decoding the keys and sending them back to him. And he's like, oh, you see your keys there? Look, we've got your code, we've got your code, we've got your code. And then Darryl started learning how to do it, so he's like, look, I got all your codes to your keys. Like, how do you do that? So now you're actually, in your presentation, you have like, look, let's take a photo of a key, and you can decode it with me. But yeah, you were sending me photo. I'm like, what's Darryl's photo of a key? Can you decode? Yeah, no problems. A minute later, there you go. There's the code to the key.
And that's the thing too. Like, that's what people don't understand is the simple things that we do and take as an everyday task can be used against you if the right person has the right knowledge. Yep. Like, I don't know how many students, and not just students either, but the shopping centres that I work in where I am, people just sitting down having lunch, having their keys sitting on a bench. I wear a body camera. when I do security work. And what do you think I can capture on that? Lots of things.
Yep.
What?
I had to
Can
go
take
down to the hospital the other day to get a nerve test done on my shoulder. And when I was walking back up to work, there was a builder walking in front of me, and he had his keys hanging off his belt loop on his pants. Just his keys dangling there. I'm like, that's construction key right there. No,
Have I got it?
no, behave. No, behave. I'm like, a couple of bylock keys sitting there. I'm like, those I can't, snap and decode. But that looks like a house key as well. I'm like, oh, tempting to... No, behave. I can't help myself. And stuff like that. When I see things... And if you see things out in the wild, send them in to us. That would be actually that would be a really fun video for us to do, where we can actually look at images that people have sent in from out in the public. The way things are installed. If something doesn't look quite right, send them in to us, and we'll do a video on discussing how bad it really is, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I have to behave a lot of the times because it really does look like I'm encasing a joint when I walk in there. Darryl can get away with it if he's wearing his security uniform. Me dressed up as a
Look when I sent you the message and that when I first started shopping centres with the shopping centres network server racks and all that sort of stuff. Passwords stuck to the monitor on the inside of the cabinet. The key sitting on the cabinet beside it to get in there.
Yep. Passwords just sitting open as anything.
Yep, sitting on a sticky note on the computer monitor. Like IP addresses sitting on top of bloody servers. Like this happens in the real world.
I've seen server cabinets with the key left in them and they weren't even shut. The door was left open.
Yep.
Like, really?
And that's the thing. These are things that we see on a regular basis and go, well, really? How stupid can you be?
Pretty, buddy.
But
yeah,
it happens a lot. It really, really does. So
people just don't understand, and a lot of it isn't, James Bond spy shit. A lot of it is just simple things that people just. It's so simple, people just overlook it.
Yeah.
That's where the whole thing of KISS comes in. Keep it simple, shithead. Like, don't leave post-it notes laying around with the passwords. Don't leave. Your keys laying around and stuff like that. Don't stick the password to... I've seen, where was it? A kindergarten. On the door had a Lockwood Digilock to get in. And it had the literally code right above it. Written, code for door. Type it in. That's the code.
I can trump that one. When I was doing security at Centrelink, when COVID first hit, I was working out the back of one of the Centrelink offices, and they had an A4 page printed up with full instructions on how to use the alarm system, including the PIN number to turn it off. Yeah, this is a government facility.
It makes you wonder.
Doing stupid crap like that.
It's like in KFC up the road just here.
Yep.
They have, it's only a half door, but again, they have a Digilock. So the one doesn't, it's a 4 or 6 digit code, whatever you want to put in. Don't have to put in a specific order. You can just type in the right ones and it opens. It has a buy lock on it, is next to it, which is never done when they're in there. But it's a half door, so you don't even, and the amount of staff I see walk up to that door, they don't even put the PIN code in, they just undo it from the back of the door and open it. Because the door only comes up like, it's a half door, it's easy, just stick your arm over, undo it and walk in behind there. It's like, okay, let's put a high security, well, not high security, because I've done a video on how to decode those locks. But let's put a lock that, it requires this to get in, but, it's on a half door. There's no freaking point. You might as well just have a lacquer band and 2 screws to hold the door shut.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So, yeah, we see some funny stuff out there, especially with what we do. And some really stupid stuff. But as I was saying, send them in. We would really love to do a video on some of the poor choices that people have out there. Or even if you don't think it's poor, if you think it's a pretty good job of security, snap a photo of it and send it to us. And we will, do a video on it. I reckon that's what other people might find interesting.
Yeah. Well, I had a student. She built a new house, and we were talking about some of this stuff in the patrol side of the security course. And she's going to me, "Oh, I'll pay if your time. Come around and have a look at our alarm system and see how you break in." And I go, "You're wasting your time, love." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because a would-be thief is not going to worry about trying to bypass your door locks. They're going to worry about trying to use the camera systems against you and block the signals and all that sort of stuff. They're going to smash the window, open the door, walk in, grab all the stuff that you've got, hold up, especially your car keys, your wallets. It's on the little table you have inside the door, and go." And she goes, "But how do you know that I've got a little dresser beside the door and that's where we put our kids?" Because that's what most people do.
There's a lot of people don't understand, especially when you start looking into security, is the fact that there's a massive difference between commercial and residential.
Yep.
And your average commercial place, like a shop front kind of thing, is okay. They've got security systems in place. The locks are usually a pretty good step up from your residential locks, unless you're overly, security minded when it comes to your house. But again, you got massive windows that are just going to smash, get in, steal a till, steal what they can, supplies, booze, whatever, smokes, and get out. A lot of the stuff and what we kind of primarily focus on in a lot of our videos is more your upper commercial commercial establishments. So places that have to have a much, much higher level of security because they're protecting a lot more valuable stuff in a way. So like your commercial server places that hold onto a lot of data, hospitals, their security has to be higher than your average shopping centers. They have the big metal roller doors that come down to, try and stop people from getting in. It's a good couple of steps up from your residential, unless all the roller doors are keyed the same, which some shopping centres they are. I may have a key to one.
It's not just that either. It's working in a shopping centre like that. It comes back to the old story of people are the worst own enemies. But the biggest issue I have working in a shopping centre is staff members going out for a smoke and not shutting the door behind them. I've even had delivery drivers come in, open up a side door, just a personal access door, walk in, open up the roller door, do their delivery, walk back out, leave the roller door wide open, get in their vehicle and off they go.
Yep.
That human aspect, it doesn't matter what type of system you have in place or the policies and procedures that business has in place to protect their assets. The human is always the worst element.
Yep.
We're
lazy.
Yep. That's exactly right.
And people don't read.
Yep.
That's the biggest one. I explain that one to a lot of people. They're like, "Oh, I'll send out an email." I'm like, people don't read. "Oh, I'll send out this." I'm like, people don't read. I said a good example of that is one of the people has a shower and there's like 4 signs that says "do not wash hair." Said everyone washes the hair. I said there's one of "lock your computers on your way out." Yet the password is stuck right on the top of the computer monitor. There's doors that say "make sure door is shut at all times." I'm like, and the door's left open. Or they prop the door open because they can't be bothered putting the pin code in every single time they go into that room. So it's just, I'm going to be going in and out there a couple of times throughout my shift. I'll just prop the door open. Even so much as I've seen a fire extinguisher taken off the wall and used to prop the door open. It's like, really?
I've seen stones.
Really?
Like, we get them all the time at shopping centres where people will go out through the fire exit door and wedge it open with a stone out of the garden, out the door, just so they can get back in. Or they'll go and
shove stuff on the side plate so it doesn't shut.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So as we keep talking, we've only been on for just over an hour. If you have any questions you'd like us to answer, put them in the comment section. Comments at the moment is looking a little bit bare, the live chat, so start commenting. Otherwise, Darryl will start stripping off. And you don't want that.
If that's going to get us the money, why not? A few glasses of alcohol and
the funds
donations
start coming in if you start stripping. I don't think YouTube would be very happy.
No.
How much they bloody charge at the moment, and there's been a lot of issues of YouTube at the moment. We love you, YouTube, but there is quite a few issues of people not getting notifications and stuff like that.
Maybe that's why they should be a member of our Discord channel.
Yeah, because the stuff's on there. And one of the other things, I didn't put it in the housekeeping earlier because I already mentioned it in the previous video. I've noticed that the store sales have dropped down a little bit, mainly since I took one of the items off of purchase off the website itself. As I've said, they're still available on the website. They're up on the website. They're still available. It says no stock in, but as it's written in the description of the product, they are available. They're just going to be either a straight up bank transfer or a direct invoice sent for it, because the amount of people that I was getting, like over 10, like almost 20 a day of people trying to purchase this product, and every single one was getting blocked due to suspected fraud, where it's the exact same person's name. Like, so, for example, we'll just say Joe Blow. They put in 20 in one day, but the bank details or the bank card, the numbers changed every single time. There's no way that person has over 20 bank cards.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I did take it down from off there, but they're still available, which is actually the Randolph RFs. We do have the microwave radar sensors live on the website as well now, which are quite a bit of fun to play with. I had it set up in the maintenance place in shed and work the other day, and we had it set up. I'm like, we'll wait for someone to walk up to the door. I said, because they'll read them through the door. But everyone was just more having fun going, oh, it actually works. I'm like, of course it bloody works. And they were trying to ask questions about what it's about. Which one of my favourite things was, I was talking we're out in the shed the other day and we're chatting, and was talking about a mentor of mine and call him a good friend, Deviant. I was talking about, like what he does over there, we're trying to create here. I'm like, he's worldwide, he's massive. And the comment was, oh, so he's a bigger thief than you. I went, yep, okay, I'll give you that one. It's just the way they pop up. They're like, straight away they're just like, oh, he's a bigger thief than you. And I'm like, I'm not a thief. I don't steal stuff. I get into areas I'm not meant to, but I don't steal stuff. Unless we're actually hired to steal something. For example, a building site, we could be hired to test the security of a building site. We could steal something off there if we got permission to. For example, a forklift. I can get us through the lock and through the gate and everything, and Darryl can jump in the forklift because we have the keys for him, because They're all keyed exactly the same, unless the company actually changes the keys, which a lot of them don't because they don't realise that. But we can literally just walk into a building site, high vis on. Darryl can grab the heavy machinery master keys, forklift, drive it straight off. That's the only time we would steal.
Unless the CEO wants us to steal our laptop and leave a cheeky little card there to say that we've been there.
Yep. Like we can get into the server room and leave a little smiling face of Darryl's picture of Darryl there being like, we were in here. Bet you didn't see us. So, yeah. But we wouldn't steal anything. That's why I don't really like the whole fact. I mean, it's funny and I laugh about it, but I don't like the whole fact of being called a thief. There's a difference. I'm a criminal. I'm not a thief. We are legal criminals. We are not legal thieves. Unless we're paid to steal something. And stuff like that. So, I don't know if G Keyman's still here. And I know we started this a bit early. Normally we don't do live streams till later at night. Because that's when the people in America join in. Unless the comment section here isn't working. Which, who knows. So, I'll quickly jump on the actual YouTube and have a look. And we'll see if Darryl's got anything he wants to discuss. I'm trying to get my phone to work.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we try to keep coming up with a lot of different aspects of not just lockpicking, but security, cyber security, to give you guys as much insight as possible into these areas. There's a lot of other videos out there, and that's the difference is we try to provide as much accurate information as possible with real-world examples.
Yep. And the biggest difference is the security practices used in, for example, the US is different to here in Australia.
Yep.
The systems in place in the US is different to here. Rune just commented on here. Interesting live. Have had it on as a podcast style in the background. That's great. That's completely fine. It's kind of like I suppose it's kind of like a podcast vibe. So sad that people do the same stupid lazy flaws all over the planet. Yep. Most definitely. People are creatures of habit. People are lazy. And stuff like that. Some people say people are stupid. And as we always say to people, the biggest difference between, like what I was saying just before with the security practices in the US is completely different to here in Australia. The demographics different because people in the US are more security minded compared to people here in Australia. And stuff like that. Like there is a lot more security-minded people in America. I mean, you just have so many different levels of security. I was just watching a video on YouTube last night. One of the Secret Service, or an ex-Secret Service agent, was breaking down Secret Service in movies and how realistic is it and stuff like that. And the way they're talking about all the different levels of security that they have in place and stuff like that, which is completely different to here in Australia. But yeah, Americans are more security minded, whereas here in Australia, people are like, she'll be right. I say to people, I'm like, you do realise that it's a pretty bad setup you got right there. You should change it. Oh, nah, she'll be right. She'll be right, mate. No, it won't be right. I reckon people that do stupid stuff like that and say, she'll be right, mate, should see what happens when it is right. Then they go, oh, crap, we should have listened to you. Like, well, we tried to tell you. We did try to tell you. You weren't listening. Because she won't be right. Will she, Darryl?
No.
No.
No, that's one of the big misconceptions is Australia is so more relaxed than what America and other places are. We just, she'll be right. It's as simple as that. People just, no, it's not going to happen to us. We live so far away from everybody else. All the political stuff is happening overseas. It's never going to affect us until it does. So when I was working for Armaguard here in Australia, we always heard about Sydney, Melbourne, all these attacks on armoured vehicles and crews delivering money. And I'd been working probably 2 years at the small branch that I was at. And I had an older gentleman, he left Sydney, come down to work at our branch. He wanted to go to a country branch to get away from all the attacks and that on their vehicles up there. And his whole mentality was being in a small country town, there's not going to be anything happening. Within the first probably 3 or 4 months of me working for Armaguard, I had my armoured vehicle shot at. At the time that it happened, I didn't realise what was going on. It was only a low caliber handgun that was shot at. It was as if a stone flicked up at a car and hit the window. The fact that it had penetrated multiple layers of the bulletproof window after we sort of looked at it and got into those what happened type situations, we realised what was going on. Small country town. We also, with this older bloke, I was part of his crew, we were delivering to a small country town. There was one bank, one small ANZ bank. And we went through, done our delivery about 10:30 in the morning, got to the next major town, which was about 45, 50 minutes away, realised that we delivered the wrong money. So we rang the bank, said, hey, look, this is what's going on. We'll do a swap over when we come back through in about 7 hours' time. That was okay. Done the rest of our day, come back. We pulled up at the branch. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Done our changeover, come back out. We got from one side to the town to the other, probably maybe 7 kilometres at the most. And we had a phone call from the local police department saying that the bank that we'd just been to had been robbed. Now, it's a small country town and a population of maybe 400 or 500 people. So complacency is not an excuse. She'll be right, it's not an excuse.
I think a lot of that as well, and I could be wrong, but the fact that in America they're more, guns are such a big thing over there, and it's highly discussed, whereas here in Australia it's so much more regulated and a lot more stricter, so a lot of people don't think about that kind of thing, and stuff like that. So it's not something that we primarily focus on and think about. When we think of guns and that kind of thing over here, we more think about farmers with shotguns and maybe a hunting rifle. So our complacent, as you say, being compliant and complacent with the whole Armaguard thing is because it wouldn't be on our minds. We wouldn't be thinking about it here.
Yeah, but in saying that too, being a repossession agent doing for 16 years, I have had on multiple occasions run-ins with the average Joe Blow with guns and weapons. I've had a shotgun pulled at my face, repossessing earth moving equipment, and that went south pretty quick. I've had baseball bats, I've had knives pulled on me. It's not just that whole gun mentality. The whole aspect of society's changed,
but it's not something that we think about straight away because it's not something that we're like, oh, everything is so much stricter around here, kind of thing. It's not quite as free. Well, it's not as free as like it is overseas.
But
so it's not on. You ask your next door neighbour kind of thing. They'll be like, I know, I wouldn't worry about that kind of thing. You know, like that would never happen.
But in saying that too, having a lot of regulations and restrictions forces a lot of it underground to the black market. There's been numerous times where I've been offered to buy illegal firearms for next to nothing. You go and buy a Glock here in Australia on the black market for $900 that has no serial numbers on it. So I can see both sides of the fence, and being a firearms instructor and a use of force and defensive tactics instructor for the security industry, it's each to their own. You have your own beliefs on what's right and what's wrong, but at the end of the day, if things weren't so tight and people had the rights like they do in America to bear arms and be able to do that. Oh, good example, the Sydney shooting where the psychopaths ran through the Westfield shopping centre. There was multiple people injured. One of the chief inspectors of the local station was the female officer that shot the actual offender. If Australians had the right to bear arms like America does, the amount of people that actually tried to stop that offender would have succeeded if they were able to use force and lethal force.
But that's the thing, you know, like it's stuff like that people hear. I know it's kind of off topic to what we were discussing. And stuff like that. It's not something the average person thinks about here because most of us are so compliant in the fact that it's like, you know, it's a lot stricter here. We don't have to worry about that stuff. You know, we can't legally carry a pocket knife on us without a legal, legitimate reason. Like, if you work on a building site, you can carry a Stanley knife. But you go into a supermarket with a Stanley knife on you, you don't need it. There's no legal reason for you to be carrying that on there because you're not actually at work doing it. And stuff like that. So it's the same principles we were talking about before is that, you know, people here just don't think about it. And the same thing, that's where that whole mentality of she'll be right because it's not something that most people would be concerned about when in fact they really should be concerned about. Rune just put up, I have seen this. For some reason, it's come up with confirm it's me. I've already verified it's me.
Are you impersonating? Are you sure it's not you? Sure someone's not hacking your computer?
It's actually through Google. That's alright, I'll do it later. As long as it doesn't kick me off the live stream, which it shouldn't do.
It's one of those things. There's a lot of different legislation, and not just over in America or other places either. It's Australia. Every state in Australia has different legislation. So even though we're in Victoria,
we have to change our training to meet, and we do our training for classes. We have at the start the laws and regulations on lock-picking equipment.
Yeah.
We have to change it for each state because it's completely different.
And that's the thing. That's where what people don't understand is you may live in one state but travel to another state, and it's your responsibility to know and understand the rules and the regulations of that new state.
Exactly. And I'm just making sure it doesn't actually sign me out here, so I'm trying to sign in. Yeah, and it's like with handcuffs. Yeah, in our classes, we do teach people that how to pick handcuffs. They have a go at picking handcuffs. But as we say to people, you know, like this is also how you get through. Two-factor authentication to make sure it is me that's signing in, Darryl, because I'm smart.
Oh.
You know, we don't just teach people about picking handcuffs. We always say to them as well, look, this is how you can bypass zip ties. this is how you can escape through zip ties using string or a necklace or shoelaces. Because Darryl can get his hands on handcuffs here. Not the ones that you get in the adult toy shops that have got thumb releases and stuff like that. Darryl can get his hands on the proper handcuffs. But there's a reason why Darryl can get his hands on them and someone like me or your average person that's going to try and restrain somebody can't. Because they are
No, a bigger criminal than you.
because they're licensed. I think there's a little bit of grey area in that, because I know it's, you got your black and your white, they're licensed, you can't get it. But I think there's a grey area when it comes to like antique stuff. I'm pretty sure, like collectible item antique stuff from like the old convict days.
Yeah, so you're talking about the old chain and ball, the old police handcuffs that they used to have back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah.
A lot of that historical stuff, you must be part of a club or an association to be able to have that sort of stuff. And it comes under a collector's license, essentially.
Yeah, it's completely different to trying to get Smith & Wesson handcuffs. From
There's only been someone that's recently come in Australia. It's only been in the last probably 5-6 years that it's been like that. And that's because they're trying to regulate now. So every time I purchase a pair of handcuffs, they come with a serial number, and those serial numbers get assigned to me.
And yes, we do teach you how to pick them. Why? Because it's fun. You can have a go at the training cuff that Sparrows offer. Southall offers that I have, and then you can have a go on the real thing. And if you really want to push your luck, we can handcuff you and you can have a go. The only time we actually handcuff you without using those metal ones is when we use the zip tie ones and say, right now, escape them. We teach people how to escape them because, anyone can go down to Bunnings or Mitre 10 or even Woolworths and purchase zip ties. Escape stuff.
That's the point too. Is the average criminal isn't going to have this type of equipment. They're going to use what they've got. They're going to have rope. They're going to have bloody bungee cords. They're going to use zip ties. They're going to use bloody gaffer tape. They're going to use whatever they can get their hands on to do the job effectively.
Yep. And that's what we teach people is, the reason why our training is different to, say, someone from the US is because our rules and regulations here are different. Our security practices in place are different. So we teach for the Australian side of things. When it comes to the locks that we teach people to pick and bypass, we use Australian locks. We have a couple of US, like we teach people, because it is fun, and if they really want to test their picking skills, we have a couple of American locks that we have in our classes that we show people, right, this is how you use the American bypass driver. Do you come across those locks here? No. But we show you because it is a bypass method that we find interesting, and so would you. And stuff like that, but we teach them about the Australian stuff. That's the big difference with us, is because, we are Aussies. We teach about Aussie stuff. That's why our content is different to someone in the US. My good friend Deviant does a lot of stuff on Schlag and Quickset. Whereas, for us, it's Lockwood and Grainsborough. It's different. So, that whole kind of thing, we focus on the Australian thing. And that's why we're trying to...
for us too, isn't it? Just going back to what we were talking about earlier is what we have here in Australia is different to America, and our human right attitude makes it so much harder for our content to get around Australia because people just don't see what the Americans do as an issue. Who cares if the lock's off here? Like, I know a lot of farmers down there in the middle of nowhere, they don't even lock their cars, they don't lock their doors when they go out.
My old man was guilty of that.
Yeah, and that's what it was like when I was growing up as a kid. Like, my parents never locked anything. because there was never a concern or a worry about it.
Yep.
Whereas now, everything's so.
My old man had this thing he told me, which was I said to him, "Why don't you lock your car? You should lock your car." And he's like, "Nah." He goes, "The one time I ever locked my car here," he goes, "someone broke into it." He goes, "If it's unlocked, people think, oh, it's unlocked. There's nothing worth stealing out of it." He goes, "You have to lock up stuff that's valuable." And I'm like, "Really, mate? Like, seriously?" But yeah, it's that whole mentality thing, and that's what we're trying to change. And it's so hard to get people to change their mindset, to change their thinking, because they are so fixed and ingrained into their way of life and their way of thinking that they want to put their blinkers on. They want to turn a blind eye to it. And, trying to convince Australians to improve their security when they're not security minded like they are in the US is really, really hard. It really is bloody hard. I mention it all the time to people. I'm like, put your keys away. Don't leave your keys laying out. They're like, you're the only one that would do that. I'm like, yeah, here. Here, yeah. But really? Like I was saying to Darryl the other week when I had to move some computers around, I had to call up IT and said, because I had to get them to fix up one of the issues that was going on. And I was walking with the boss and I turned around and said, I can't access the back end of the system. And my boss knows what I'm like and turns around and goes, "Well, you can, just not legally. Without permission." Yeah. And I went, "I'm not saying anything, so I don't want to incriminate myself." So
you giving me permission to do it or what?
Yep. I'm like, "Are you giving me permission or what?" The same thing went when I turned around and asked one of the bosses, "Can I borrow your Grandmaster key?" I said, "I got to get into this room." And they're like, "But you don't need a key to get in." I said, "Well, technically, no." I said, "But would you prefer me to break through the lock and break in, or would you prefer me just use the key?" And they're like, "I suppose you're right." I'm like,
you want to have to fix the lock after you broke into it.
There's only a couple of places where I actually don't use a key, like when it's way easier and way quicker to actually just slip it in an emergency situation, which I've been given permission to do. But
does that mean breaking into the smoko room for lunch is an emergency?
No, there's no. The old smoking shed is actually all closed off now. It's a clinical waste, so I wouldn't want to break into there.
You coming out with 2 eyes and 2 noses and
yeah. But yeah, it was kind of funny, like people. But that's the thing. That's the mindset that we've got here. People joke around about what I do. They're like, "Oh, you don't need a key, or you don't need the, oh, you can get access into that." And people are like, "Oh, can you hack this? Can you hack that? Can you do this? Can you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can too, but you're joking around about it, whereas I take this stuff seriously." I know someone at a business who came in as a new head of IT at an establishment and was extremely security minded. Really security minded. I had a chat with him on the phone because they called me up. We were having a chat, and because they wanted to pick my brain on a few things because they were incredibly security minded. He was fascinated by the physical security side of things and how he can implement that into their cyber security side of things to improve, because they go, as I keep saying, hand in hand. And ended up leaving the job because he couldn't convince them. Because they're like, "Oh, no, we don't have to worry about that. Oh, we never have to worry about that. Oh, we never have to worry about that." That's the problem, is, he's trying to convince them. He's trying to do what we do. He was incredibly minded on this side of things, but trying to convince the general Aussies, no. They end up leaving because they're like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to do that." He's like, "But you should have these things in place." these are vulnerabilities. This is what people will attack, and it's very common. Nah, we've never had an issue so far. We're not going to worry about it.
Well, just look at the recent attacks with, I'll reframe it. No, it wasn't an attack. It was when Counter-Strike put out the patch update that disagreed with Windows. 85% of enterprise businesses went down because of it.
Ball accounts only attacked. Ball accounts, from what I heard watching the Hack 5 update weekly thing they do, only 1% of computers around the globe were affected.
Yeah, so it was more enterprise-based systems. So the average small business wasn't affected.
Yep.
But it's just how large.
If I have legal access, I have access. Yeah.
It's one of those things that it doesn't take much for one thing to happen to affect a large area of the world.
Hospitals ended up having to shut down surgeries and put them all on back hold.
Yep.
Bull accounts, Tesla even got affected. A lot of their automation stuff had to shut down, and they're trying to rebuild it all. Banking institutions, like corporate offices, global businesses all got affected by it, all from one small system. But people always go, we don't have to worry about that. It's not going to affect us.
Well, that's still that next step too, isn't it? And then you start going to that prepping stage. I know America's big on the prep stuff. I'm sure I like that. Actually, I don't like that. A lot of the stuff that we teach can be adapted into that part of society and life as well.
Yep.
Even just having the basics understandings for survival, getting into to run down buildings, being able to get into old medical stores to get medicines and that type of stuff in those situations.
And this is why you should book in to do our online course when it's up and running.
That's it. That's it. Make most of what you can.
Prepared. Because, as I was saying earlier, we're not just going to... It's not just, like Locksport. We're talking about non-destructive entry. We also will... For some reason, it's back to front. Bloody webcam should invert the image. But in saying that, like we're looking at field operations side of things. So, like you can actually know what to implement in the field. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. We will have you, if you follow along with the training properly, we will have you doing stuff that's going to throw you out of whack. We could turn around, one of the classes could be, right, get outside in the dark, in the cold, when you're shivering, and pick a lock. And practice that. Put gloves on. Blindfold yourself. Stuff that gets done as on the Locksport side of things. Things that get done as competitions and challenges. Yep, people, you'd never pick a lock blindfolded. Okay, pick a lock on a lockout in the middle of the night. I just read what... Darryl bloody commented on there. Jeez. So yeah, that's why we, do our course. It will, if you want to be more prepared to, in an emergency, get through physical obstacles, do our course.
And that's the thing too, like as GK just sort of pointed out, anybody can destroy a door to get in, but is that the smartest thing to do? Do you really want people knowing where you are or where you've been?
Yep. And sometimes it actually takes longer to be destructive than what it does to be non-destructive.
Yeah.
I've watched them with the hooligan bars, the fire service. Yep. They're smashing into the lock and they're trying to pry the door away and they're smashing in, prying away. And I'm like, dude, you could have just gone microchip, boom, and it's open. The latch is exposed. Quickly slip it and get in. Why are you doing so much destructive methods? A lot of the times, the non-destructive method is also the fastest. I've spoken to CFA people here. So here we've got CFA, Country Fire Authority. think in South Australia it's the CFS, the
Yeah,
Country Fire
then you
Service.
got the MF, BSO, the Melbourne Fire Brigade. There's a lot of different acronyms for around Australia.
And I've chatted to quite a few of them when they come in and stuff like that to work. And I've chatted with them like, oh, do you have the fire service elevator key? And they're like, oh, this one. I'm like, thanks for confirming. Yep, that's the one I'm on about. And stuff like that. They're like, oh, you should see this one. And I'm like, snap, thanks. You know, and they're like, I said to them, what, you know, I've spoken to paramedics. One of them was talking to me about my bracelet because I demonstrated it for them and explained what we do. They're like, yeah, we're not allowed to gain access into buildings. Like, paramedics are not allowed to gain access into buildings anymore. They have to wait for somebody to do it for them. I said, so if a person is unconscious inside a building and it's an emergency that you get in, but you have to wait 20 minutes for an emergency, another, you know, like CFA or a locksmith or the police to come, they're at a higher risk. You know, that kind of situation. I mean, usually if it's an emergency, someone sees someone unconscious on their floor or whatever, passed out, they call 000. They don't just send paramedics, they also send the police and the fireys at the same time. They all send them all together. But as they're saying, they're not allowed to gain access into buildings anymore. I'm like, well, I reckon they should learn it still for emergency situations where, you know, rules kind of go out the window. Just turn around and say, door was unlocked when I got here. It wasn't me. They actually laughed at that one. Said, as long as it's legal, you know. But the CFA, I said to them, like, you do realise, I said, how did you get through this door? Picking their brains, like, I would just use a hooligan bar. Or the jaws of life. They actually don't really call them that anymore because they're not of life. You know, hydraulic reams and stuff like that. I would just use them, break the door down and get in. I'm like, but why? You're causing more damage. Wouldn't it be easier? It's like, if the building's on fire, we don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we can teach you better ways. They're like, we don't care. Not our problem. We're just there to get in. Again,
and that
mentality. And laws and regulations they have to follow.
That's about it. Yeah.
That last comment GK man put up, that's funny.
Yeah, well, insurance companies are always good to deal with.
Yep. I'm just, I can just imagine that. It's like, oh, I didn't, you know, she'll be right, mate. We don't have to worry about that. It doesn't happen around here. There's a video that's put up on one of the Facebooks, the local stolen stuff. And these people broke into a house during the day when no one was home, took the spare key, and left. They, you know, got out without leaving evidence, except the spare key was gone. Then the next night, they went past, and the car was parked in the driveway. And it's on security camera. They go up, use the key, unlock the door of the car, hop in, start the car, drive it off.
Yeah.
And it was quick. Like, they didn't show video of them getting into the place, but they showed them coming up to the car. And the comments, I read through the comments because I was kind of interested to see. It wasn't actually put up in the post that they stole the spare key during the day. That was a comment down in the comment section. But the amount of them was, what device did they use to get in? That was really quick. Isn't that a new car? Doesn't that have immobilizers in place? And doesn't that have this in place? And no one was focusing on the fact or even really questioned the fact that, did they have a spare key? Did they get into the house? You know. And it was just, I found it shocking because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that was way too fast for a device. So you walk up, you see them go, boom, hop in, start, drive out. It was all done in like 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds. I'm like, the device, even our hacking device is going to take longer than that. And stuff. They just in, out. No one really questioned or thought, oh, did they get a spare key in the house? How many people keep a spare key to their car in their house? I don't. I carry both my keys on me at all times. Only because I have locked myself out of my car before. And all my tools to get into my car are locked up in the back of my car. So I carry a spare set of keys on me. So yeah. That one I've actually found interesting. There's another one that I kind of had a little bit of a giggle at. I shouldn't have, but just how badly it was done. They caused thousands of dollars of damage. Like, it wasn't funny in that aspect, but how much damage was actually done is what was funny. A car wash place, vacuum cleaner. You put coins in the vacuum cleaner. It has a metal box that all the money goes down into, and it has a cheap wafer lock on there, little wafer camera lock. And yet the amount of damage they did with a crowbar and a pry bar smashing into this money box to pry the cam lock open to get into it, I'm like, it was a wafer lock, a jiggle a key and turn would have got it open. It was a lot easier doing that to get in rather than the amount of damage bashing this metal plate in to try and get into the box.
Yeah.
That kind of thing is just unbelievably stupid. But it goes to show you, criminal mindset, as we were discussing earlier. Criminal mindset. They're just going to smash their way in. They're not going to, do what we do and they're not going to spend 20 minutes trying to pick the lock to get in. They're just going to brute force it. Don't keep your picks in the same... I can't read that because there's a love heart copy covering it.
Don't keep your picks in the safe unless you know the combination.
That's true. Yep. That is really true. That's why I don't. Mine are hanging up. Well, one of my sets is hanging up right behind me in my EDC bag, along with my flipper. And I should have done it, but I didn't. There was a Tesla sitting in the car park next door at the aged care facility. I was tempted to, but there was too many people around, so I couldn't do it. And because I didn't have permission to do it. But I was really tempted to pop the lock, the charge port. I was so tempted. So tempted, but I didn't.
And that's the hard part of it, because you just know that you want to do it, but those people watching you make you feel guilty for doing it.
I mean, it's nothing bad. Like, it's not going to cause damage or anything like that.
It just looks a bit dust. You stand there with your little toy in your hand, pushing buttons, the next thing you know, it just pops open.
But I mean, it's not like it's a dangerous thing. It's not going to cause damage to the vehicle. It's not going to cause damage to the systems or anything like that. Like picking a lock, you can cause damage picking a lock. But setting a code that is used on every single one of them through isn't going to cause damage like that. But no, I followed the rules of, which you can't see because it's right behind under there, but it says keep it bloody legal. That's why I just want to see it look on some Tesla owner's face when I run up to him and I'm like, "Excuse me, can I hack your Tesla for a second, just for a video?"
Yeah. And then go and subscribe and like the video.
Yep. I just picked up a locker-shaped safe that had a secure ram lock on it. They drilled 5/8-inch holes till they finally got it open. 6 or 7 holes. None touch locks as they couldn't reach to pry it open. There was quite a lot of cars, and again, idiots not knowing what they're doing. There's quite a lot of cars whose locks actually got damaged because some kids watched, and it was kids. They don't know if you're here. They watched some videos on how to drill out a lock, and then they tried to drill out a car lock, which you can't do. You can't drill out a car lock, like a wafer lock on a car. Not like you can with a pin tumbler lock. So they stuffed a heap of cars. The amount of cars that had to get their locks replaced because people tried to drill them out like they would a pin tumbler lock. Because idiots don't know what they're doing. We can teach you, just don't do it illegally.
Yeah, practice on your own car.
Yeah. That's the big thing that we emphasize in our classes is to people. It's like, you may really love learning this stuff. Do it on locks that you purchase just for the sole reason of doing these methods on. Don't go do an amount on random people's property. It's illegal.
And that's the thing too. Like, it's such a fine line between, oh, but it's not going to hurt anybody. I'll just have a crack at it here, and you go to jail for it.
That's why we emphasize to people. You know, like, yes, Darryl can do it as well. Can do automotive lockouts under the business. We can do automotive lockouts. We can do residential lockouts. Darryl's got the equipment to do residential lockouts. We can do them under the business because it is a part of the business. And we are legally allowed to.
And that's residential in Australia, not commercial.
Yeah, residential. Here in Victoria, up in New South Wales, it's different laws. But here in Victoria and South Australia, we can do them. Kind of thing. And that's what we teach people in their classes. Like, yes, we can legally do this stuff. The only time we will break into commercial facilities is in a pen test, but we are legally hired and we have the documentation and all the legal side of things, the shite loads of paperwork that involves. We have that to be able to do it. That's what we teach people, you know, like, have fun. And if you do our online course, which we'll get set up, we will tell you, okay, we're looking at field operations to get you ready for out in the real life physical entry methods. If you want to get into that industry, so we can teach you and train you how to gain access through all these locks and security devices and stuff in a pen test when you're actually hired by a company to assist them in a pen test. You know, we might teach you this stuff, but if it comes to, you know, you just saying to somebody, look, I can do this, I'm field trained to get through this lock, don't.
To do that.
And that's going to be the biggest thing. Like, yes, we will get you field ready. We will teach you field operations, but where you use it has to be in a legal way. But again, as we say to people, if you are like with our classes, and we always teach them, so we'll teach you how to pick these locks. Have a go at picking these locks. If you want to keep going, you can purchase your own lock picks and have a go. Don't pick the lock on your front door. As tempting as it is, don't do it because you can break it. But understand the fact that we've told you not to do it. We do not condone it. We do not encourage it. But we do tell you the risks if you are stupid enough to do it yourself.
But I think we've all been there and done that, though.
If you break it, then you're going to have to call me to come and fix it. And I said that, I was explaining that to someone. They're like, but wouldn't you encourage it then? Because then you get more lock work. You know, encourage them to pick the lock on their front door and break it, because then you have to come and fix it. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to fix when there's stuff jammed up and stuck up in there, and you know they've locked themselves out, and you're trying to get them in, but the stuff jammed in it.
It's just a WD-40. All good.
Don't use WD-40 unless it's a lock lube. Buy WD-40. Only because like Houdini would be like $80 a can to get here. And could you imagine lock service with us using Houdini over here, $80 a can? Yep. Lock service with spray a lube. Yeah, that's $100. All you do is spray some lube in there. Yes, but it's $80 a can.
It's good shit.
I actually had someone the other day at work. I had my DALP jacket. I sat on the back of the chair, and they come in and sit down, and they're like, "Oh, your jacket smells like a mechanic's. Like it smells like the oils from a mechanic's." I went, "No, that's lock lubricant." I said, "I go through that stuff so much, it's not funny." You know, kind of thing. Like,
we can do it, but it'll be a cost.
I have a 16-pin lock on my door. I will not try to pick it. I know somebody who has a buy lock on their front door, and I won't try and pick that. What are you drinking? Monster?
Same as you. I just got full wedded.
I bought 4 of them earlier today. 0 sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full wedded.
Well, you're not sponsored by them, but if they would like to sponsor us.
I will take any sponsorship.
Yep. I still haven't asked Sparrows yet.
We won't have Donald sponsorship.
I should get around to asking Sparrows. I'm a little bit hesitant at the moment. But I mean, like, we have multi-pick, we have pick powers, we have bare bones lock picking. I haven't asked Sparrows yet. I am hesitant, even though they now follow me on Instagram. I haven't asked them yet. I'm a bit hesitant.
Okay, ready first?
But I might do it. But if anyone else knows anyone that would like to sponsor us, whether it be hacking equipment or physical entry equipment, if you like us to test it out, we are more than happy to.
Or good field food, because that's always the worst problem going out in the field, eating crappy servo food.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, that just reminds me and gives me horrid thoughts of that bloody beef jerky we bought on the way over to Adelaide that tastes like freaking dog food. That was horrid. Like, the worst tasting bloody beef jerky we've ever had. And then we bought those pies that were, like, cold.
That was shit.
Even hot. At Bordertown, it wasn't too bad. Those the rolls and stuff we got at Bordertown wasn't too bad. But that jerky, ugh. I wouldn't even feed that to the dog. The Takis on the way back weren't too bad, though.
Yeah.
I actually found there's a petrol station literally like a block up the road from my work that sells Takis, and that's all I've been buying lately. I'm like, on my dinner break, I'll quickly eat with dinner. I'm like, right, I'll be back in a minute. I'll spin up there, grab a pack of the Takis and come back. But yes, out in the field, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Horrible food.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was horrid. It's not just...
It was a good time, though. You can't complain about it. It was a good time.
It was a good time. Except for the hungover bit. Driving
That's everyone's going to blame Pat for that.
That was Pat's fault, exactly.
He should have encouraged us to drink so much.
Nah. Jeez. I haven't really drunk since then. I can't because of my stomach these days, but yeah, it was just a lot.
So we shouldn't go up again and have another session.
I mean, we could. I'll just have to pay for it with my stomach.
Did that video ever get demonetized?
No, it didn't. I've been waiting for that notification, but no, it never got demonetized. I actually called this up. I I wanted to see, so like I completely forgot. So I jumped on and watched that live, and it was pretty good at the start, and then the last couple of little minutes of it I watched, I'm like, shit, I really was wasted. Like, I was that friggin' drunk, slurring me bloody words, but I was still sober enough that I could actually set the dishwasher off and finish loading that up and hang my washing out and then go to bed. So it wasn't too bad. I think we ended up getting, what, 100 or nearly $200 or something off of Pat for drinking.
Pat. Yeah.
He got sent some stuff. Here we go. Question from Rune. Is the flipper like a Tamagotchi, or will it work even when the dolphin is not happy?
Well, you had the Tamagotchi, so I'll leave that one to you. You
I
got
used to have
both
a
devices.
Tamagotchi. That was before your time.
Before my time.
Before your
Right.
time. Yeah, when Darryl was younger.
21, mate. 21.
When Darryl was younger, he had a hula hoop with a wooden stick.
That was the rich people.
And an abacus. And to do his schoolwork, it was a hammer and chisel and a piece of slate.
Yeah, my best mate was Barney Robbie.
So the flippers aren't like the Tamagotchi in that regard. And if you use the firmware that we now use, you can do it with the Unleashed. I think they changed it with the Unleashed later on. But the new one that we use, the Momentum, you can actually... So, like a Tamagotchi, you kind of like, over the days of doing things with it, you can build up its level. You can do that with a flipper. You can set it to the basics and start off at level 0 and work your way up by doing hacks and stuff like that.
It will still work regardless of whether the dolphin is happy or not.
But you can actually, in the Momentum firmware, you can set it so you can take the level from 0 all the way up to 99. And you can make your dolphin mad continuously, normal, or happy. So you can actually set it and adjust it to how you want. But no, it doesn't matter. If your dolphin's pissed off at you, and you know you're at level 0, you can still do everything. It's a way to, if you want to encourage people to try and do more hacks with it. But in memory,
they initially promoted the flipper as a toy, not as a hacking device, and that's why they've got the dolphin in there and allow you to do it, play your games and do that sort of stuff. It's just a gimmick to get it out on the market.
It's a proof of concept tool. Like, I call it the multi-tool of hacking, because it really is, and there are quite a few people. But as I always explain to people, like, a multi-tool can do so many jobs okay-ish. But is it the best tool for that job? No. You know, like the dear little freaking scissors you get in a multi-tool that can't even cut bloody paper. You know, like that kind of thing. You get a flat-headed Phillips screwdriver in a multi-tool. Kind of thing, you know, like it's one of those, like, is it the great job for that? You know, is the screwdriver better? Yes. The pliers you get in a multi-tool, are they the best pliers in the world? No. Can you buy a proper pair of pliers that will do a better job? Yes. But do it well enough?
It's a proof of concept. It's something that you can take to a pen test job and show a potential client or client the basic vulnerabilities.
Jack of all trade, master of none. Yep.
Yeah, if you take in 20 different devices and go, oh, this is how we break into your RF devices by using the Proxmark, we can replicate, we can replay and do all that sort of stuff. You're going to spend 15, 20 minutes trying to explain the concept, whereas with the flipper, you can just go whack, here you go, it's done.
Yep.
And they can see in real time without having to have an advanced knowledge of how each individual device works.
Yep, and that's what I said. That's why I say it's like a multi-tool, you know, like, hey, Brav, Leon's on. Awesome. It's one of those things that is saying, like, you know, like, are the pliers on a multi-tool the best? No, but will they do the job? Kinda, yeah. The flipper's the same. So the flipper, you know, is it the RFID functionality of a flipper? Is it as good as a Proxmart 3? No. You can't go doing all the stuff that a Proxmart 3 can do. But is it great for out in the field to do a quick copy of an RFID? If you go to a hotel, right, they give you an RFID card to access your room. You don't want to go carrying the card in case you lose it, blah, blah, blah. Use your flipper. Copy, paste it onto your rig. You're done. Deviant's done a video on it of how fast you can clone an RFID from a hotel key. I've done a video on how quickly we can clone an RFID. Oh, I've got the hiccups now. Card onto my rig using the flipper. Is it great for that? Out in the field, if I want to quickly clone an RFID for a customer, if I go to a place, they're like, oh, you know, they got a dongle to get into their building. They're like, oh, can we get another copy done? Do I have to break out the laptop and the Proxmart and load everything up and get everything? Or I can just give me a flipper, go boom, boom, and it's done. I can use one of my other readers, but one of them only does low frequency. The other one only does a mix of both, but it leaves a password on the dongle so it can't be cloned and copied and stuff like that, which is a pain in the butt to remove. You need to know special lines of code, which I know have been sent in to be able to remove it. So the flipper makes life so much easier.
Oh, that's what you think.
Because again, it is a jack of all trades and a master of none. You know, I still haven't done absolutely everything that you can do with the Flipper Zero. So
no, I don't know, GK. I haven't tried it on a microchip. I don't know whether that's in or not.
I reckon it could, but I haven't tried it. I haven't even really tried it on a car key.
No, go and find a random dog out in the front of your house and we'll try it.
I was going to say something then. I thought I better not.
Well, that's why I made the comment.
I better not say anything. I was going to say, depends who you're talking about. Yeah, I haven't tried it on a dog. I think you probably could.
I will make it.
The RFID chip in a car key.
We'll have to try that. Next time we're out, we'll find a random dog and try and microchip them.
Or I'll just find someone that's got a dog with a microchip in that's a friend of mine. Just be like, can I just scan your dog? What for? I just want to see. You probably would be able to get one. Because, I mean, the flipper can read a credit card or your bank card. Yeah, it can't. You can't use it to then pay for something. Because of the amount of encryption on the stuff. But you can kind of read it. You can pretty much read any card. As you know, can you copy it and actually have it work?
That's
probably not.
So long ass skinny hand. They can
Not being an engineer or a cat. Yeah, next time I buy a bag of dim sims, I'll scan one of them and see if it's got a microchip in it.
It's a barcode on it. It's going to scan.
That's a barcode, not a microchip.
You say potato, I say potato.
Yeah, I know some devices or bags actually have the little RFID chips on them for the sensors when you walk through the doors. I was reading the rest of the comments. The best tool is the one you carry on you. Yes, it is. That's why you should have the Viking.
Yours is the tool full stop.
Was that?
Yours is the tool full stop.
Oh, yeah. A useful one.
You wish.
It's like I was saying to someone, they're like, oh, you do so many different jobs. I'm like, yes. I said, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of some of them. The master of some. It's like, I had someone say to me, it's like, oh, you're really good with the maintenance side of thing. How do you learn all this stuff? I'm like, it's called common sense. Said not everyone has that.
Right,
Ask Google
GK,
if
here
a
you go.
cell phone can read dog chips. One of them finally says no. It depends. Because your phones usually, if the microchip on a dog is low frequency, your phone won't pick it up. Because they only use NFC in the new phones. So I'd only pick up high frequency. So I can copy high frequency RFID cards with my phone. That's why you can tap and pay with your phone. But it doesn't do low frequency. So, yeah, that's the only thing with cell phones. It uses NFC. It doesn't use low frequency RFID or LF RFID. Again, when it comes to RFID, I'm an absolute whiz that knows every single thing about RFID. No. But can I clone and copy credentials and steal credentials on RFID? Yes. Anything else I need to know? I ask the people that specialise in that. Dog chips and also NFC. Are or aren't? Are. Flipper can read NFC. That's why
So
I have
according to Reddit and the Flipper subreddit, yes, they can read animal RFID tags.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes.
And there's a video up there of someone scanning their dog's card.
It won't tell you where that bloody animal comes from. No.
It just reads it.
The number. The number could be, like 9462541, and then, they have the reader comes up with that number, that chip plus the information.
Yeah, because it doesn't cross-reference their database system.
Yeah.
And
any other questions? Send them in while we're here. I don't know if Leon's still around.
do the last one, 243.
Over in the UK. Good mate of mine.
3.
Had one of my favourite YouTube channels to watch. Hasn't done any content in a while. He hasn't been able to. Hands issues. And stuff like that. So, but great channel to watch. I really got to finish off these bands for Deviant. So if you are after one of our Viking Sling bands, we do have them available up on the website, which is down below, DALP.com.au. Or if you're in the US and you don't want to wait ages for a postage to come across, you can purchase them from the website that Deviant does not like to mention, Red Team Tools. Just woke up, mind isn't working, but say hello. Hey, it's all good, your mind doesn't have to work. Daryl's doesn't half the time anyway either.
No, it doesn't. I just turn up. That's all you get paid for.
Just get paid to smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
That's it.
Dog chips. I'm really going to run around and see if I can scan a dog chip now. I was going to start chasing random dogs at the park. Be like, let me scan you. Let me scan you. So every time.
Go up to the dog owner first. Go, can I scan your dog?
It's like,
or your cat.
It's like my youngest has been listening to me because I'm like, Tesla, let's hack it. Tesla, let's hack it. Every time I see Tesla. Her driving the other day, she saw one. She goes, Dad, Tesla, let's hack it. I'm like, I am so proud right now. And then she said, look, it's a Tesla, let's hack it. My son goes, that's not a Tesla. He goes, different car. It's like when I built him a Deauthor. So I built him not the V3 that we have up on the website, but I built him a Deauthor, and he was having so much fun going around taking like McDonald's free Wi-Fi and random houses Wi-Fi names, copying them and just spamming out that many around. That it wasn't funny. And he was having an absolute ball for it. The only thing I told him was don't go shut down any devices that you don't know or don't own. Like I may have done to him here at home when he was on the PlayStation once and wasn't listening to me. So I jumped on my DALP V3 and disconnected the PlayStation from the internet. Right in the middle of one of his games. So that was fun.
It's always fun.
Shit on straight.
And we might actually do some basics Darryl will, the basics in the online training that we will have available as soon as we can, on the authentication attacks and packet sniffing and cracking passwords. And no, it's not like what you see on TV where you can steal somebody and crack somebody's password in seconds. It takes a lot longer.
It depends on your computer system that you've got. It depends on the complexity of the password, and it depends on the dictionary listing that you have.
One of them I put in and said, not in this century.
Yeah. So it depends on how strong of a password. So if someone's got password as their password, it's something that's going to be picked up in seconds.
Yep. Need coffee and
Whereas
glasses.
some passwords that I use will take ages because they're like 100 kilometers long.
And don't believe a lot of the password managers I've noticed, you type a password in and it'll come up with, crack time centuries. Not all of those are correct. I can literally type in password 1234 and it'll come up with crack time 10 years. But it only takes a couple of seconds because it's such a weak password. And again, if you have any questions that you would like us to try and answer or yammer on about or speak gibberish about, put them in the comment section. Don't forget, you can also support this channel, and I said it at the start in our housekeeping, but we really do appreciate everyone's support, especially when we need to try and get some funds together to possibly be going up to Canberra, which I can't talk about right now. But there is a possibility.
I haven't hit with a non-disclosure for that yet.
No, I haven't been hit with a non-disclosure just yet. But it probably will be if I talk about it. Probably will be if I talk about it.
Yeah.
But there is an extreme possibility, extremely slim possibility that we could be going up there. Or we might just say stuff it and go up there anyway.
We'll party crash it.
No, I'm not talking about that. We'll party crash Don's house, will we?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I know what locks he has on his door. I don't know where he lives.
Anyway.
I don't have his exact address, but I'm sure we can get in there. I'm sure we could track him down, a bit of OSINT work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got to try and get some funds together. So if you would like to support us, you can do so via our channel memberships, even though Google YouTube, Google really do take a massive chunk of funds that you earn through there. We have the 2 levels available, which we mentioned in the housekeeping, the basics, which will just give you some of the behind the scenes videos and posts and stuff like that here on YouTube. Or the next level up will give you access to our private Discord server, which has got a lot of stuff in. It's like Beetlejuice. If you mention his name too many times, he turns up. Did we say it 3 times?
I think we did.
Yeah, I think we must have. Yeah, we really must have said his name 3 times, so he just pops up.
So he can give us his address now.
Yeah, hi Dons. Hi Dons, we were just talking about you. So yeah, you can support us through there, or there is in the description down below and down in that corner, right next to I'm trying to get my finger in the right spot. Just there is the... Yeah, I was actually getting my finger right on it, right there. There is the QR code to donate through our PayPal. So any bit that you put in, we really do appreciate. Don't forget, the more that we get comes in for us, the more that we can give back to you.
We're not giving back.
Or you can purchase products off of our website, dalp.com.au. I have no problems with mentioning the website. Yes, Dons, we were just talking about you. Sam Darryl had the idea we might come and party crash your house at some stage. You never scan a QR. I know this QR code. I made this QR code, and it will not infect your devices. I can promise you that.
No, just put a back door on it so as we can keep an eye on all your purchases. And you don't purchase some stuff from DALP.com.au.
Like the one down below on there. That one I created as well, and that literally just takes you to the website. That is it.
But are you expecting everybody to trust you?
Yes,
I wouldn't scan your QR code.
you have.
It'll take you to the adult version of DALP.
Dark Arts up late. Where we get encouraged to drink and get drunk on live streams. And who knows what comes out next.
I told you earlier, if Pat comes back with a bit more money, who knows?
I keep looking down at my phone. I keep expecting to see a phone call from Pat just to come and chat with us again.
It was good fun that night.
That really was. The driving the next day hungover or possibly still drunk was horrible. But yes, no. That is a good point. That I'm trying to see who said that. The lockpicking engineer said, don't go scanning random QR codes. That is true. Very true. How you going, Viper? Yeah, there is a lot of random Dark Arts only fans.
Hell yeah.
I was talking to someone about that. I thought about that to someone the other week. I'm like, geez, the way things are getting at the moment, everything going up in price and all my fees for everything have gone up through the roof. I'm like, may be tempted to start an OnlyFans. So lockpicking naked, I said, except no one would want to see that. Even I wouldn't want to see that. But, never scan QR codes that you don't know. But I can promise you now that the one here, down, right there, for PayPal is legit. It will take you to PayPal, where it's our tip jar for donations. And the one for our website, which is on the board, on our thing here that we use when we do training. Which I really need to get into doing another one of these for. That's for the non-destructive entry. I need to do another one for cyber. I haven't got round to it yet because I haven't had the funds to get round to it yet because I spent all the funds on the equipment for the training.
Oh, it wasn't for OnlyFans. You said it was for OnlyFans.
What? Who's?
You spent all the funds on OnlyFans.
No, I didn't spend the money on OnlyFans. I like that video. The guy is like, look at all this money my girlfriend made from selling OnlyFans. She's like, OnlyFans? She goes, yeah, selling OnlyFans. Like, fans. Although I suppose you could put, some funny things on locks and stuff like that and make, those kind of videos.
Maybe a lube in the hole.
Yeah, like make it look, picking a lock really, like, the way it's all set up. I need the dick pic. That lock pic that's shaped like it, yeah. Locked twerking. Shoot. Yeah, no, we better not get into that. This is meant to be a family-friendly show.
It is. That's why I'm saying everyone to OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, yes. DALP OnlyFans. Actually, I should buy some. You know what I've got to do now? If I get enough funds together for it, I'm going to get a couple little desktop fans, like those little USB ones, and I'll stick a DALP logo in the center and just be like DALP OnlyFans. That'd be friggin' hilarious. DALP brand.
You know how we go off on those tangents?
I have 2 spare rooms, so you don't need to spoon each other. Oh, thank God for that. Yeah, thanks for that one, Dons. But we definitely, we are going to go up that way. We definitely need to get some funds together for that. Again, as we were discussing earlier, a lot of the things that people don't realise when it comes to running a business is the work that goes in behind the scenes, work that doesn't get paid for, and the cost of upkeep. Like, quite literally, well, the last lot of funds that come in for the business literally went back into getting the website back up because the subscription was due. The website, well, not subscription, what's it called? The hosting and domain and all that fees were due. So I had to fork out the money to get all that so that we still have a website for you to come and purchase stuff off of. Getting stock in, every time I sell keys, I have to order in some more key blanks because otherwise I run out of product and I can't sell you keys. So quite literally the last lot of funds that come in went straight back out on the website renewal fees and some keys because I literally run out of stock on a few of them. So the DALP accounts are quite empty at the moment. Because, that's the other thing that people don't talk about when it comes to business, especially online business. It's not free to have a website. What are you reading now?
Yeah. DK's got an interesting post up.
Got what now?
There's a message up for review. Have you read it?
Message up from where? I'm trying to see.
Up for moderation. G. Keeman's put a message up for review.
No, I haven't seen it. It's not coming up. You can approve it. You have access to approve it.
I'm sitting there looking at it.
I can't see it.
Are you going to call them small fans, little blowjobs?
Oh, okay, yeah, best not.
I'll approve it. It's done. There you go. It's up. It's up.
I was going to say, better not.
You're right. Don't want to demonetise it. We'll just go to OnlyFans. We've got plenty of support already for OnlyFans.
Does that mean I'm going to have to buy some little desk fans and stick DALP logos on them? Yeah. All right.
So next live stream, I want to see a couple of little fans. People's faces. We can put Belmont on one.
I'll get those little handheld fans. That'll do. Although I actually have to put the heater on here because there's freezing down here at the moment. Like, absolutely freezing. I just had, speaking of stuff that people don't actually see in the background, just got hit not only with having to renew the website stuff, just got car rego in, so I had to pay that. Not to mention rent's gone up here, plus everything else, and the shop is at my house. So yeah, the price of everything here has just gone up through the roof. So yeah, we do have to try and get some funds together to head up to Canberra. So any support is bloody greatly appreciated. And as I always say, like, the more that comes in with us, the more that we can give back to the community. Like Pat, when he donated so much money, we sent him some free stuff. And stuff like that. So don't think it doesn't go unappreciated, the support from everyone. And anything that comes in and stuff like that, we will be getting back into giveaways. I know I haven't done any because it's been hectic at the moment, trying to do work. Trying to get these bands done for Deviant and all that stuff. So
Possibly could have a new product coming too, surely, can't we, from old mate?
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting to hear back about that one.
That'll be good.
That'll be really good. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully you'll hear something by DEF CON.
Yep.
So DEF CON's not that far away. Speaking of DEF CONs and stuff like that, I know P-Dub had a lot of fun at the B-Sides, Adelaide. I am hoping, fingers, toes, legs, arms, everything crossed, we get B-sides in Melbourne. Because
We make an effort for it, I think, and
I'll
get there.
definitely want to go to that. I missed out on the B-sides up in Canberra the end of last year, start of this year.
Yeah, like in the last year,
End of
yeah.
last year. I missed out on that one, unfortunately. This time, keep the winter down there. Do not need it back in 5 months. It is freezing. The best one I actually heard, I can say this because I keep it clean. One of them I heard was, it's that cold down here that I keyed my car with my nipples getting out. But the best one I heard was actually only in Australia news report. Like, it only happened here in Australia. They said to people, send in descriptions on how cold it is in your area. And this lady sent in, it is that cold here. Our local flasher is describing himself to all the ladies.
Right.
I'm like, okay, that one is kind of funny. It's that cold, you got to describe yourself. But you guys catch colder and hotter weather. Yeah, I'm actually surprised we haven't had snow down here yet.
Hey, I get snow where I am.
We haven't had any here yet.
Like an hour's drive.
I was going to say, did you have to go like that for snowy dandruff? Yeah.
You're a winner.
Yes, hopefully, as Darryl was saying before, we might have a new product as soon as it comes out.
We'll definitely do it.
We will do an announcement on it as well, but got to wait for someone else to do an announcement on it. Got the ice on the roads yet? I haven't noticed ice here, but I mean, it's been that wet, I've been sliding my ute around. Not intentionally. Don't talk about the white stuff. Oh, you mentioned white stuff around here. You mentioned special white powder, and my kids go, oh, MSG. I'm like, yes. I'm actually out of MSG. I used it all.
Well, stop sniffing.
Nah, my youngest, she's like, MSG, it's like salt on crack. And I'm like, I'm glad you don't know what crack is. She's been watching Uncle Roger.
I was going to say, she's been watching Uncle Roger.
Yep. Yeah. She loves Uncle Roger. She's like, it's like salt on crack. I'm like, that is so true. 1.5 degrees Celsius now. Going to be like -2 soon. Bring your thermals. At the moment here, it is 4 degrees.
What have we got here?
Feels like 1 degree. And it's been raining most of the day. At the top of it.
I've got 5 degrees. Feels like 1.
Yeah. Same here. Yep. That's how cold it is. Don't talk about the white stuff. Yeah, all the black stuff. Graphite. That stuff is horrid.
Well, stop sniffing it.
I've been working with graphite on a few locks lately, and the stuff goes everywhere. I wore gloves working on a lock that had to use graphite in the lock. I wore gloves. Right? Finish it all. Put it all done. Take the gloves off. Put the tools away. Looked, I had black stuff all over my hands because it was on the bloody screwdriver.
Oh, well.
It was my screwdriver. Didn't see it, so I have black spots on the handle. I'm like, we've got freaking black stuff. And it doesn't wash off that easily either. It just reminds me of the graphite launching device that Jason at SE Lock and Key designed, and he had black graphite all over his floor in his shop. That's why I don't use graphite. And don't use WD-40. Or the worst one I heard is, I reckon, is almost a step up from graphite, as in how bad it is, and a step up from WD-40 and how bad it is. Someone said, oh, I just use a bit of cooking spray. That's the same look I gave.
Cooking spray. Right.
Yep. They put a bit of cooking spray in their lock. I'm like, did it get gummy? Like,
Rightio.
yeah. I was going to turn around. I was going to be smart and turn around and go, canola or avocado?
No,
Oil spray. Coconut oil. Yeah. Don't put stuff in your locks that's not designed for locks. Eucalyptus oil.
Don't smell nice.
Actually, eucalyptus oil is pretty good for stripping some stuff out.
That's why your lock never works again.
Yeah. But it's good for getting rid of like the tackiness from glue. For removing that. I actually use contact cleaner. So a good one to use for cleaning out locks is it's actually made by WD-40. It's called contact cleaner. It's designed for electronics, so you can literally spray it and wash electronics off, and then it's non-conductive and it doesn't leave a residue. And I use that to clean out locks. If they're extremely gummed up and I'm trying to restore a lock, I will soak it in degreaser, and then I use contact cleaner to flush all that out, and then repin it with all new pins, clean it all up, and then use proper lock lubricant. That is the way to do it. I cannot do lock work with gloves. Have no feel for the tools. Yeah, I don't really pick with gloves on. I probably should practice a bit more for when it's freaking cold. My gloves are actually sitting right there. But yeah, most of the time anyway, when I'm trying to get in through a door for a lockout, I'm just bypassing it. Or using a Lishy. Lishies are good. And yes, there is a section in the online course for Lishy picks. I just had a guy the other day asking about Lishies and stuff like that, and if it'd be worthwhile getting like Schlag and Quickset and stuff like that for here. And I'm like, if you want to have fun having a pick, yeah, but I don't recommend it if you're going to, focus on locks that you come across here. We don't really come across Schlag here unless it gets sent over to pick from the US. So there's no point. Like my Lishies for residential lockouts is the LW5 because with the space I can use it in the LW4. I have a Grainsborough. I do have a Quickset that was sent in to review. And then I have a couple of automotive ones. But I'm not going to go out and get Schlag, and I might get a Yale. I haven't got a Yale Lishy yet. That might be the next one on my list because they are starting to increase in popularity here. So that's probably a good one to get. But yeah, I'm not going to go out and buy ones for locks that we don't use here in Australia. And a little interesting fact, which I only found out the other day, which I was talking to a mate of mine about, and even he was like, wait, what? So they use 2 pin sizes in Yale. I'm waiting to see what Darryl's thoughts are there just then. So they have Yale official size. So the proper Yale brand official ones. But Lab now also has pins for Yale. So like the Lab pinning kits that we get here for Australia, which does like our Grainsboroughs, not Grainsboroughs, that does the Lockwoods and what's the other one? They do fit in the Iconics, but they're not quite right. But some of the Aussie ones, which I've just had a mental blank from, you can't use the Lab pins for like Lockwoods and stuff in Grainsborough because Grainsboroughs actually use a skinnier pin, just slightly skinnier. But if you try putting the Lab pin in the Grainsborough, it doesn't work. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I had no idea that Yale here uses the two sizes, the lab Yale pins and the official. So that's kind of interesting. Which was, yeah, I didn't expect that. A quick look at the comments here. Being more of a challenge to lockmaker versus a picker. Don't use gloves. Yep. DALP, do you want some schlag? Use USA. Send some calls, and I have an SC20 Lishy. I'll gladly give you. I'm always happy to have a go test products out. I do have some slags here. As I was saying, we don't commonly come across, well, we don't really come across them here in Australia. Not out in the field. Not like you do in America. But always happy to have stuff sent in and to review, play, test, do videos on. I just had a Northern California. Hello. I just felt like freaking Obi-Wan then. Hello there.
OnlyFans. OnlyFans.
Stop bringing up OnlyFans. I'm not going to do it. I swear, I'm not. No. And all this and no alcohol, just caffeine. And again, Monster, if you want to sponsor us.
Hey, where's Pat? Someone needs to go to Pat. Message Pat.
Pat, yeah, where are you? Pat, where are you? I would so laugh if he actually just popped up then and be like, I'm here.
Oh, we've done Don 3 times and got him on there.
Yeah, we said Don's 3 times and he turned up. He hasn't called yet. So, and again, if you have any questions, since this is a live Q&A, you can put them down below. Or if you really want, you can phone them in. Phone a friend. But yes, if you'd like to send stuff in, we really do gladly appreciate it. Had to replace locks on a pizza place. Got the lube from the Golden Well. Oh, I could have used, actually, I should have done a video on that. When I took the kids ice skating at the end of the school holidays down in Melbourne, in Docklands, it was right next to Costco, and we went over to Costco to have a quick look, and they're like, well, I'm hungry. So I said, all right, we'll grab some pizza, because they had $3 slices. And I mean, they're freaking huge. Like, one slice of pizza is like the size of a small pizza here. I should note, I ate one last night, a small pizza. But the amount of grease on it, like, pick it up and there's like grease running out. I should have kept it and be like, can we lube a lock with pizza grease?
That's exactly right. OnlyFans. Pizza, a lock.
Greasy time. And then sprinkle some MSG on it for good. Some salt on crack.
That's it.
And just to do an Uncle Roger and go, sorry, June. Yeah, give us a DM. Had trouble with my deauthor. Could you explain a little bit more on how to run it? What version of a deauthor are you using? Are you using like the pre-built deauthors that have a screen? Are you using a deauthor V3 which uses the
WFP?
The mental blank, the Hunator program to run? What kind of deauthor is it? Is it the one for you can use in the Flipper Zero? Let us know, and we will gladly answer that. Just a board. We 3D the rest. There's a love heart in the way I can't read.
So what board are you using and what software are you using for it?
Yeah. Do you have? Is it like one where you can press buttons? So one where you can press buttons, you got the toggle to go through the different selections, or is it one where you have to plug it into a computer and then use the computer to actually run the scripts? No. So computer based or toggle based? because I broke my toggle-based one. And I just use the DALP V3 now. Which is available at DALP.com.au. Power off a phone. I know there is one you can actually get for a phone that you can do the deauthentication attacks with. Did have 2 buttons for getting around. Oh, okay, so it's like a little. Have a chat for a second, Darryl. I'm gonna go raid my son's room because I think he's the author still sitting in there that I built him. So I'll have a look and see if it's the one I'm thinking of. So you have a chat about explain what a deauthentication attack is.
So basically, it kicks everybody off the Wi-Fi network, and then as they come back on, it does a man-in-the-middle attack. Well, some of the more advanced stuff allows you to start capturing packets from them, from that four-way handshake, that you can then use to decrypt and be able to get the password for that Wi-Fi. But essentially, it's then also it just kicks people off the network and forces them to reconnect again. Easy, layman's terms. You kick people off, you get them to reconnect, capture the handshake, crack the password from the handshake. Unfortunately, I get tossed into last week. Accidentally. Well, that stuck's going to get thrown into the fire. DALP.com. Get a good one from there. Yeah, look, it's one of those things. James has got a wristwatch deauthor that he uses on a regular basis as well. It's one of those things that you want to try and keep it inconspicuous. But yeah, use what you've got. Simple as that. If you find the watch one's the way to go, use that. There's a lot of other stuff out there too that you can use, like the flipper zeros and what sort of stuff. If you want to get into those side of it, can do a lot of DDoS attacks with the Wi-Fi dev board. But yeah, get yourself a new one. I'm assuming going into the fire, you like completely lost the entire deauthor. Obviously, James can't find anything in the bedroom. Yeah, they're not expensive to buy nowadays. Like if you even want to go down the past, make your own. Get an SP32 board, and you can create your own. Download the firmware from GitHub. I reckon James has done a video on his deauthors, the version 3s, which will be floating around on the YouTube channel somewhere. But definitely, yeah, they're fun to play with. Just got to be mindful of where you use them. So don't go down to local Maccas and kick everyone off there. But it will suck having to lose it. How did it end up in the fire in the first place? That's what. Were you drunk and threw it in there? Yeah, well. Yeah, we actually have a fair bit to do with Deviant. He buys a lot of Viking sling bands off us and sells them on his website. We have multiple correspondences with Deviant every week. If you go over to his website, you'll actually see some of our products on his website that he sells and purchases from DALP. So yeah, he follows our channel as well. So we sort of learnt a lot of the stuff that we know from Deviant and his team. So Bobby over there as well. Yeah, we have a few things in the background that we'll be doing with Deviant. So hopefully we can announce some stuff shortly. We've been trying to get him back over to Australia so we can catch up instead of just doing messaging over Twitter and email and all that sort of stuff. But trying to get him on Deviant to come to Australia is really, really hard. He doesn't get over this way very much. But yeah, hopefully we can get him over this way. It'd be good to just to do a live stream or something with him when we can get him over here. But who knows? We might have something coming up in the background that hopefully we can announce a bit later. But yeah, we do.
I have absolutely no idea where he's put it.
Yeah,
Can't find it.
you can't find it.
No,
We're just talking about.
The author that I built, Aiden. I have no idea where he's put it. All I know
You
is
got
his
your-
room stinks.
Have you got your watch the author? Is that there?
Out in the shop.
Oh, no, don't know.
We're gonna say I can go and grab it. It's in the case.
No, we were just talking about it with Kenton.
Actually.
Yeah, so we do. We have a YouTube channel, if that's what you're asking.
My laptop bag might have.
The school bag. You wouldn't know where James has got stuff nowadays, Viper. There you go. Is that what you're talking about, Kenton?
That's the Proxmart V3. Not Proxmart V3. The author V3. Proxmart's in here. I don't actually carry this around with me everywhere anymore.
Yeah, I do, Kenton. I've got a YouTube channel, but I don't put anything up on there. I spend a lot more time doing James and stuff because I don't have
OnlyFans.
Yeah, we're going to do OnlyFans. If you go to my website, darryljacko.services, which is in the link to the description, you'll find all my socials and that over there as well.
It's not a school bag. That is a properly designed laptop bag.
It's a school bag.
No, it's not. It's actually sold as a laptop bag. Like yours.
I have a school bag.
Mine's not. Mine is a laptop bag. Yeah, so I have a wristwatch, the author. They're alright. They're pretty good. I do recommend, if you want to get into learning about using the authors, the wristwatches and stuff like that, they're okay. The boards you can buy are okay. You have to know what the MAC addresses are in order to be able to properly identify each device. So, yeah, you have to know that stuff. But we have done videos on that stuff. The Author V3 has a lot more functionality than this, which I do like. But if you're going to have a watch, you have to know the MAC addresses of the stuff you want to attack. Whereas if you actually join that network, if it's like, you know, your home Wi-Fi, using Fing, which you can get on your laptop or on your phone, you can then trace the MAC address and go, okay, well, I want to have a go at deauthenticating Wi-Fi cameras. You can look up the MAC address for your Wi-Fi camera using Fing, and then you can track the MAC address in here and then deauthenticate it. You can also spam and stuff like that. But the the Delta V3. Oh, these bloody hiccups. Has a lot more functionality. So there's that.
Yeah,
I
no,
watched
can
that
just
one,
go and jump on DALP's website and you can grab one of the V3.
You guys
They
are the
also-
best kept secret. That's because we're OnlyFans.
It won't be now. We get on OnlyFans, we're done. That's it.
What else do I have in my school bag? Oh,
It's
the
gonna
other
be-
thing that we have on the website, which I've got to get some more boards in and produce, are our captive portals. They are a lot of fun. The CP 2.0. That's a good one to have.
We integrate that into OnlyFans.
Captive portals.
Yeah.
That's what you call my... No, I can't say that. That's what you call Darryl's rear end, the captive portal. I was thinking if I can get them at the right price, the bad USB cables,
Yeah.
the people, if I can get them at the right price to resell, the people can use to run scripts into computers with, and stuff like that. So, Jesus, has that been taking steroids? What thing? No, it'll be in his school bag. So, I used to carry that laptop bag everywhere with me. When I go and teach classes, it goes with me, and stuff like that. But my EDC has changed. My new everyday carry bag is hanging up just over there. It's a lot smaller, but still has a lot of the same functionalities.
Yeah, so just to answer your question, Kenton, James sort of started off with lock picking as part of the Locksport community. 7-8 years ago now, James, you started DALP?
The YouTube channel I started back in 2017. I started Locksport before then, but the YouTube channel itself I started back in 2017.
Yep. Yeah, so we're both self-taught. I do a lot of the cyber stuff, a little bit of physical stuff as well. James is more of the physical side of it.
The old prison wallet.
He's going to the OnlyFans technician. We're both self-taught. I've spent 26 years as a physical security guard. Been doing web design, cybersecurity for about 16 years now, all self-taught. So yeah, we teach ourselves. There's a lot of information out there, and we try to just make it as simple as possible for people and give back. So hopefully that gives a bit of insight.
Insane self-taught, yes, but we're also been trained as well on a lot of things. I've had people teach me a lot of stuff, and I've learnt a lot from other people. But yeah, a good chunk is also self-taught. When it comes to learning bypasses, it's all well and good watching YouTube videos on bypasses, but there are some that may not have been discovered yet. Some other method of getting access through that. So literally, if it's all well and good. Let's say you go and purchase a knob cylinder, right? To put on a door or to pick. You can just focus primarily on picking that lock. Yeah, that's all well and good. But there might be a bypass in it. Discovering new bypasses. I did a video which I actually have to do an in-depth video and breakdown of building the tool and actually using it. But the one on the knob cylinder that I had sitting out in the shop, yeah, it's only a cheap one that I had laying around. It's an iconic. They're horrible. Don't use them. I do not install them when I do residential locksmith jobs. I do not install iconics. If it's like in a quick and emergency lock situation where they really need a lock temporarily, I'll put one on. but then I'll replace it with a better quality lock. But so, you know, I did the video on bypassing one of them, which I've never done before. I've never actually looked at, like, I've picked those locks and stuff like that, and I teach about slipping door latches and all that stuff. But making a tool and actually going in, I was looking at the tail piece that feeds through from the front into the back where you turn the lock, and I'm looking at the clutch system, and I'm like, pull the lock apart, and I'm looking at the back of I actually pull the knob apart, and I'm looking at the kick cylinder, and I'm looking at how the tail piece interacts. I'm like, I wonder if I get a piece of metal that's kind of flat, can I fit it in through there and then use that to rotate? Because that tail piece on the inside will just rotate on its own. And actually made a tool, which I broke a couple of times learning how to do it, out of a small Allen key, and put it in through the back of the lock, and I'm like, and flip, unlock the door, unlock the cylinder. And, you know, it's also a friend of mine over in America said that he's been, you know, he has a modified Allen key that he does that on, and a lot of them with that same clutch system that uses the same tail piece on the kick cylinders on the inside, it works on. So, you know, a lot of it is about experimentation. You don't know a bypass on something unless you actually practice and learn. An example, LPL. He was doing a lot with the safes and stuff like that. He's like, oh, I can just take this fork. Who would have thought, you know, like, who would go, oh, let's get a fork and just jam it in. Oh, it unlocks. Who would think of that? You wouldn't unless you actually have a go. And that's how new bypasses are discovered. That's how new methods for gaining access into stuff is discovered, by literally having it and breaking it down and having to go at it. In order to be able to learn a bypass for a product, or how to quickly get through a product, you need to purchase that product in the first place. And again, this is something that we were talking about earlier, much earlier in the live stream, is about the unseen costs of running a business. And the fact that we have to stay up to date with new stuff that comes out. We have to make sure that we are on top of the ball of new bypasses and stuff like that for locks. So, as Darryl says, you know, like, you can never be a master when it comes to cybersecurity stuff. At its core value, physical entry follows the same basic principles, no matter how advanced a lock is. You can have, like, the new smart locks where you can control it off your phone and give certain people access at certain times and all that. You know, fancy RFID, PIN code, great, but it always has a mechanical override, which is a lock, you know, a pin tumbler lock, and usually they're not that high quality because they put all their focus and energy into making it smart, and they're like, oh, if the battery dies or power fails, we need to have, screw it, we'll just stick a cheap bloody cylinder in there, done. And it has a mechanical override. So really, physical always comes down to the basic fundamentals, but we have to purchase the stuff in order to find bypasses and learn new bypasses and stay up to date. It's not, you know, it's not worth Darryl learning hacking stuff for, you know, 20-year-old systems. Yeah, it might come in handy, but it's always been updated. So he's always having to look up new stuff, having to do research on new stuff because it's constantly changing, and it's not free. It costs a lot of money to actually, you know, practice these things and stuff like that. So it's one of the things that people don't talk about. It's one of the things you don't see is the underlying costs of this industry, of actually staying up to date in this industry. Not only do we have to purchase the tools to be able to do it, I mean, yet sometimes we are very lucky. We have sponsors such as Multipick, super high quality. Highly recommend Multipick. Absolutely fantastic company. Best products around for quite a lot of things. We have PickPals, the Aussie company here, as a sponsor. We have Bare Bones Lockpicking, so great for, and as we teach beginners, we highly recommend Bare Bones Lockpicking for beginners. Their products are absolutely fantastic. Yes, of course,
Yes.
I'm wearing my homemade Slim Jim. Which there will be more over at Red Team Tools very soon because he's already sold out the first half of the order I sent him.
Yeah, we were talking about Deviant just before.
What about Deviant? Did I send
You
him
don't know
messages?
anything.
Did I send him messages? So yeah, this is stuff that, you know, people don't see. And it's not cheap to stay in this industry. Yeah, as I say, yeah, we are lucky we get some stuff into review and tools to use. We do give a lot of that stuff away, but it's not cheap. And that's what I was saying, you know, like at the moment, the DALP bank accounts are virtually empty because we just had to get all the websites renewed, all the stuff for that. Paying back the outlay for the classes that we just taught and all the equipment for that. I was spending a lot of my own personal money, a buttload of my own personal money to start everything off and get it there. At the moment, the business is at the stage where it's kind of helping itself. It's keeping itself afloat, where all the money that comes in goes straight back out on more stock and more supplies and more equipment for classes. But it's not at this rate stage yet where I can pay myself an hourly rate. A lot of our work, except for when we actually teach classes, the time we're actually teaching is underpaid. This right now that we're doing, the live streams and the content that we put out, yes, we run ads. Yes, we do have the tip jar through PayPal, which if you like to sponsor is over there, which Darryl keeps going like this every time I do it. We have the channel memberships. So, you know, like we get a little bit in, but as I say, YouTube takes a big chunk of that out. But we do it because we enjoy doing it. We love this industry that we're in. And we like sharing information out there for free for everyone. But there is the options to be able to support us if you'd like. And of course...
Paying to get drunk.
And
like Pat does.
Paid to get drunk like Pat paid us to do. But... we do, if you really want to get into learning this stuff and stuff that we don't discuss here on YouTube, because there is a lot of stuff that we would love to put out there on YouTube. I mean, absolutely love to put out here on YouTube, but we can't for reasons. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that Darryl would love to talk about here on YouTube, but we can't. When it comes to certain hacks and certain entry methods and stuff like that. But we discuss them on the private Discord server because it's not open to the absolute general public. So yeah, if you would like to join the private Discord server, you can purchase it through the website. Where it's a monthly subscription fee, or through the YouTube channel memberships, which is the second level, is the private Discord server. And soon, very, very soon, as I finish this order for America and all that stuff, we will have the online classes for the general public. I'm still not sure yet how I'm going to organise the fee for that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a monthly subscription for the class, or if I should just do an outright cost at the start. Never teach bypass tricks. So, I mean, I made a rule at the very beginning of doing this, and it's one that Darryl also agrees with, is I won't teach something unless it's already available to the general public. I will not do a video on something that is not already out there by someone else. I'll teach you the Aussie version of it, and on the Aussie locks. But if the information is out there, I'll teach it. There has to be. You have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. When we do classes and stuff like that, Darryl and I would love to jump on here and be like, okay, we taught these people for this company, this stuff. We can't. We can give you feedback. It was absolutely fantastic. We got 9s. As we always do in our training, we get 9s and 10s out of 10 feedback for our training. But we can't tell you what company it is because we sign NDAs. I had to think for a second. Then I'm like, NDRs. But I don't know where NDR come from. NDAs. Non-disclosure OnlyFans. Isn't that right? Non-disclosure OnlyFans. I assume you've picked the Mindy lock. Yep. I was actually the second. Either the second or the third person to ever pick one of them on camera. Pretty sure it was either the second or the third. It was one of the two. But yes, I picked one of them. I also picked a Miwa from Japan, which is a wafer lock, but extremely high security wafer lock. I wish we had them here. Yeah, whereabouts are you located? Then we can help you better answer questions.
Where are you?
Is there a Mork and Mindy Shazbot? I loved Mork and Mindy.
They're showing your age now. You can't be 21 now.
I'm not 21. What is it? It's like I'm too young to be young, but I'm not old enough to be old. I'm like in the middle.
Yeah. North Carolina.
Ah. Okay. That makes sense. Nanu. Yeah. Good up, Mork and Mindy. That was a good show. No, Northern California. Age test. Actually, speaking of age test, so there was a TV show at work the other day that was on that the residents were watching, and I looked at it. I'm like, "What? Did he?" I was turning around to one of the other staff members who's a lot older than me. I'm like, "Is that the guy that played the son in the TV show Steptoe and Sons?" And he's like, "How do you know that?" He's like, "But this other staff member that was on, who's like same age as the other guy, is like, but she has no idea about that." I'm like, "Because I'm educated." I'm like, I do know some old time shows, yes, and I am a lot older than I look. According to my kids, I'm very old. One of them thinks I'm 40 something. I'm like, I'm not that fucking old yet.
Yeah. He's up on the age.
What is it? Someone said to me the other day, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Okay, do you want physically, mentally, or biologically? Which one do you want to know?" Well, physically about 90, mentally 12. They turned around and said, "That's being lenient." I said, "Yeah, I know, right?" I said, "Biologically 34."
Yeah.
Nearly 35. Past that age a while ago. I'm that old, I fall off kids' playgrounds equipment and shatter my right ankle into little pieces. Which I'm still doing physio for. It's been 7 months now. Over 7 months. And, as was explained in the class we taught in Melbourne by the person who booked us in for it, "Wow, what'd you do?" And I told him, he's like, "You know what? That is a great social engineering tool." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I said, "You'd be surprised how many people open the door for a cripple in a boot and on crutches." I said
Yep.
non-weight bearing. I said they literally open the door and let you through. I said not to mention I can probably hide some tools in my crutches and no one would know. Because they're
That's how joke.
hide stuff in my crutch.
Well, like I said, the prison wallet.
Darryl actually teaches people to wipe you down with a wand, and he does hide stuff on his body. And see if security guards can pick it up. Such as the escape brakes that I used to make, I haven't made any because I haven't stock for it. But the escape sets, Darryl will literally hide them on his body and they wave him down with a wand. And guess what? They don't find them. Do they?
That's good. Nuts.
No. We should probably actually do. I was gonna say, can we get away with doing a video on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. Next time you're down this way, or when I'm up that way, when we're going to go gate crash party Don's house up in Canberra, when we head up that way, maybe depends on how much money we make. Possibly in September. I haven't signed an NDA yet, but I'm probably going to get slapped with one. Or nah, you're not going up in here.
We'll just go.
We'll just go gate crash.
Yeah.
We'll track down where it is. We'll do a bit of OSINT work. I'll do a bit of OSINT work. Speaking of that, actually, and what might be interesting to people here that's interested in the cyber side of things, which Darryl will be teaching in the online course. The website pentester.com. Have you used it, Darryl?
Yes, I use Mr. Montgomery's site all the time.
I had a go at it today. I typed in DALP.com.au. And we're actually pretty good.
Oh, I know.
New house lock and key. On my way to a lockout, just listening. Made a better tool, doubt. Cool. I haven't purchased the equipment to make one. New house lock and key just did a short recently, doing the same bypass that I was talking about earlier where I made the tool, which I've got to do a more in-depth video on of the knob cylinder. Yeah, I had a look at his website today after watching a video on YouTube of his. Really interesting. Really useful and really interesting.
Right.
Still here. Locks here. Start picking some. Yeah, Don's has more locks than he can poke a stick at. While everyone else was hoarding toilet paper during COVID, Don's was hoarding locks. That's his retirement plan. Sell them off. Use the carrying. Didn't think of that. Have you seen the handgun that requires biometrics of the owner to operate?
Actually, I reckon Deviant done something on that a while back. I reckon Deviant's done a video on the biometric firearms safety stuff and the lock boxes as well.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I reckon he did. But yeah, I've seen them.
Biolocks. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I already,
Fingerprint to operate them. So they haven't.
And Don's already said that I know you have biolocks on your house. I don't know where you live, but isn't it weird? I don't know where he lives, but I know what locks he has on his house. Hey, new house, any lock and kitten and open with the out the window.
I will be back.
Yeah, I can see you back.
Yep. Right.
Yep. So one of the most asked questions I get is, and most comments I get is, are there any locks you can't pick? I'm like, yeah, there's plenty. The saddest moment, probably the saddest moment, is in a class, and I couldn't even get a master lock number 3 open in front of people. I go over and I smash the level. Was it level 9 or level 10 security Lockwood? Level 10 security Lockwood. Smashed it out in like 20 seconds. Not even. And then I'm trying to, demonstrate the master lock. Couldn't get it. Again, another reason why our online course will be teaching you to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The online course will have a lot of different aspects to it. So, as I was saying earlier in the live, if you didn't see, it will have stuff for an absolute beginner who's never picked up a lockpick before, right through to field operation work. And this will all be online. So, the basic tools that you'll need to start off the online course will be just a basic lockpick set. A couple of rakes, couple of hooks, some tensioners. Not going to be a whole lot of stuff in it, and then you can acquire the tools as you progress. Like there'll be a section on Lishy picks. You don't have to go and purchase a Lishy pick. They are expensive. And if you're not going to use it all the time, it's not worth it. But if you want to, you can. But you can watch a video on a Lishy and understand the principles of it. And using it. It won't be just picking a lock with a Lishy and describing everything that's involved. It'd also be decoding a lock with a Lishy and different locks with Lishys. One of the other parts of the class, one of the things that I love doing, is methods of duplicating or producing keys out in the field. So we will have a section on the online course of literally every method of creating keys out in the field. I might do impressioning. I'm not that good with impressioning, not for pin tumblers, all from the start. When I do sight reads on wafer locks, so when I do locksmith work, little wafer cam locks and stuff like that, and the smaller wafer locks, when I do sight reads on them, sometimes I might just be a little bit off with my sight read, so I have to impression that. But am I an absolute expert at impressioning? No. Do I use impressioning a lot? No. As I said, the only time I use impressioning is quite literally on little wafer locks when I'm doing them. Otherwise, I just use the Lishy picks, or I pick the lock, gut the lock, and then just decode it. But we will go through all that in the course. And then Darryl will do all the cyber side things. But not only will we have the pre-recorded videos, the Word docs for use, there will be the live stream chats, as we said earlier, and you will literally have, and even if you join our Discord server, the private Discord server, you have access to Darryl and myself's knowledge. So any questions you have, any time, you can comment on there and we will respond to you. There's loads of topics on the Discord server. In there, Darryl,
there's lots of information out there that it's not just us either. Like, there's a lot of other people on that server that have knowledge.
Yep, James Randolph's been putting up a fair bit lately on there. When it comes to radio stuff, he's a bit of a whiz. So I'm thinking about getting him as part of the online course. Is getting him in to do a little bit of the radio hacking side of things. I know I was just chatting with him on there the other day, and this is just a topic of he was doing a scam. He was seeing how far he could drag out this scam artist and stuff like that. He's let me know the information kind of thing of what was happening and what he was doing, and it was quite interesting. to see his thoughts and methodology on, seeing how far along he can string this scam out that was trying to scam him. So there's a lot of interesting stuff on there, including lock porn from OnlyFans. Not really, but yeah, there is lock porn on there, or EDC porn, I think it's called.
Which we have to do a new one, because I don't know about you, but I've updated a lot of my stuff recently too, so had a bit of a change around and.
Max, yes, maximum adjacent cut. For those of you that didn't know what max is, I have pushed max to the limits as well. I actually beat Bosnian Bill with a lock that pushed the max to the limit. As well, and I had a heap of undercuts, and he thought he got an open and jammed it up, and I ended up beating him because of the way I designed the lock. But I tested it. I just didn't take into account somebody thinking I got an open and cranking down on that tension wrench and jamming the pin. But yes, max. So each different brands of locks have different max. One of the most extreme I have done on a challenge lock was a 9 on the LW4 key, which is Lockwood standard C4 key. I had a 9 cut, which is the deepest cut, and then I had a 0 cut, which is the highest cut. 9 cut, deepest cut, 0 cut, highest cut. Most of the time, your max would be about 4 cut depths in between each one. When you start going out at max, the keys don't go in as smoothly. They're more likely to get jammed up and stuff like that. So never push the max out of whack on a actual working everyday use lock. With challenge locks, you kind of get away with it.
I'm going to have to head off, James.
Yep, I'm got to do the same. We've been on here for 3.5 hours.
I'm going to jump off. I will catch everybody next time. Have fun. Keep it legal. Yep. And let us know in the comments what you want to see. What type of topics you want us to cover, and we can definitely start to do a bit more on it.
Yep, and I'll chat to you during the week and go over a few things, and yeah, we'll see how we go.
Definitely. Too easy, guys. All right. See you all later. Have fun. Keep it bloody legal.
Yeah. See you, Darryl.
See you, James.
All right. Darryl's gone. It just cuts me off for a second then. Gonna say, if James is around, he could always jump on. And I know if Don's is around, Don's has got access to the Discord server. He doesn't have to show his face, but he can jump on audio if he would like for a little bit. We have been on here for 3.5 hours. Make a key go on an LW. Yeah, it pushed it out to the absolute max. But you can do it. It's not something that I highly recommend. I've done it on a few locks. I think it was 3 I put out with those max. Don's in bed, so it's not going to jump on. All good, mate. Do you every once in a while make any CLs? I haven't made CLs in... Last CL I made, I was out on the farm probably 4 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah, coming up 4 or 5 years ago was the last time I made a challenge lock. I stopped picking challenge locks. I kind of lost interest in it. I dropped them not long after Bosnian Bill did. Not just because I lost interest in it, but also because the views went disappeared. The views went right down. because people just lost the interest in them. So, and I dropped them, and then not long afterwards, I started the business. So my whole stuff changed. So I might make one for a bit of fun. I actually probably will in one of the sections in the online course once I get it all done. I probably will make a challenge lock section on there on how to make a challenge lock for those that are interested. In our book that we got for our classes that we produce, which the information will be uploaded onto for people to be able to access on the Discord class when it's running. It's, I do have about what are challenge locks, and I tell people they are a great way to really test your skill and to see what people can come up with around the world, and stuff like that. And it is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot of bloody fun. I literally, all the challenge locks I had here, I got sent a heap. When I had a meetup down in Melbourne, I gave HV Logic and those, all of them. I just gave all the challenge locks that got sent in, I'll pass them on to them. Because, I just, lost it. And because the outlook changed. That's what I said, I don't do a whole lot of picking on camera anymore because of the fact that my practicing and my training for picking, which I do consistently, I'll be picking the same blocks over and over and over again. You just get bored with it. We're more now about focusing on the physical entry side of things and education on physical entry methods. So, as much fun as I enjoy, literally, I do enjoy picking, and I have fun picking, locks. But you will get bored literally watching me pick a lock with rim cylinder every day or every video. So that's why I try and keep content different. I try and keep content new. A great way in order for us, so videos that I think are going to, videos that I think are going to be a massive thing, high views, might not get very many views. And videos I think aren't that good, won't get many views. Massive skyrocket of views. So it's hard to tell what people are interested in. Because as we were saying earlier, what I might find interesting and what Darryl might find interesting, yous might not. So, the best way in order for us to be able to bring you education and, bring you content is for you to let us know what you want to see. That's why we did this live Q&A, to try and answer questions for people. But send them in. And as I said, like a video that we would love to do earlier on, which some of you might miss because we have been on here for just over 3.5 hours now. We did start earlier than we normally start. That's only because Darryl has to go to bed early because he got work early. We'd love you to send in stuff that you see out in the wild. So send in, like dodgy installations that you see laying around, or, dodgy lock boxes and stuff like that. Send us in the photos. Email darkartslockpicking@gmail.com. Send them in via our Instagram page, our Facebook page. Messages on there. Send them in via Twitter, which I don't post a whole lot on Twitter anymore. I'm still on it. I don't really use Mastodon much anymore because I keep getting kicked on that one because the only one that was available that I could join was Oz.social, and they don't like me run the business off it. So they kick me off every now and then. Or my phone number is available on the website, and stuff like that. Send them in as a text message. 044876600. And we'll do a video where we actually look at some dodgy installations, some what you might think are great installations, and talk about the weaknesses that we see, how we would exploit it, stuff like that. don't give away the actual location or what it's on, but just like the installation or the system that's in place. Which we reckon that we would enjoy to do it, and user probably find it really educational and enjoyable as well. Like one of the live streams that Darryl and I did, not the one where we were intoxicated before we went to Adelaide, but one of them we discussed about social engineering and phishing attacks and stuff like that. And then I found out in an interview I did that the person who I was doing the interview with found that extremely interesting and learned something, and learned something he didn't know, and then passed it on to his boss, his employer, and his employer actually made people watch it because they actually learned something. And it was stuff about they had no idea. See you, Jay. Contact me, mate, if you want to send stuff over. I don't put my address out there. I say I'm in Ballarat because I am. It's a claphole of a town. But I don't put my address out there. But if you'd like to send stuff in, and donate stuff and donuts, not donut, but donuts. Stuck in my head now. Just contact us. Can send you the postal address. Or if you order stuff off the website, I actually put my postal address on the back of that, which I'm about to fill one out later that I got to send out. So, yeah, send us in information you would like us to talk about, topics you would like us to cover. And yeah, if you're really interested in learning a lot of stuff, our online classes that we'll be running will be an absolute massive thing, and a great topic for you, or course for you to do. As I said, we're not just going to focus on Locksport. We're going to focus on field operation work, everything that we teach when it comes to physical entry methods. We've taken our businesses, so we're taking our class that we teach for businesses, organizations, groups, and events, and we have expanded it out and really drawn it out for the online classes, because a bonus to the online course is there's a lot of information to cover that we try and fit in. Like a business might only have a day or 2 days, so we try and cover, some really important basic information for them and have them have a go at it. Like better methods on how to protect themselves, and the most common methods of gaining access through a majority of locks and stuff like that. Keep all the groupies and fans at bay. I have no groupies or fans. I can walk down the street without getting mugged. It's fine. Never had anyone say, "Can I get your autograph?" The day that happens, James, the guy I was talking about earlier. See, you mentioned people 3 times on this channel and they pop up. Darryl's gone, unfortunately. So if you want, James, if you want to have a quick chat, you can jump on the Discord and come and join us on here. So yeah, we're taking it and expanded it out, because trying to learn as much as you can and retain all the information within a week is a lot for some people. So as we're saying, if this course takes you 6 months to do, it takes you 6 months to do. Plus the live classes that we'll be putting in place as well. For example, like we might cover a live Q&A class on, let's say, impressioning, right? So you can actually go, okay, I want to learn more on this, and I've got some questions, I need clarification, I'm not quite understanding this. You can join in on the live class. We'll probably also, as I was saying, I'll probably also try and get a few other people that have expertise in certain areas that are way better than me, come in and teach live class as well. For example, like James and radio stuff is his knowledge is a trillion times more than mine when it comes to that stuff. I can kind of be like, okay, this is a radio. I know how to use one, but James's knowledge on it is far exceeds mine. I've taught classes for uncertain tactical, and the way that they get people to come in and teach class is absolutely fantastic. So, being able to get people in is the same thing that I want to do with DALP and our online classes. So, yeah. And I'm starting to feel buggered, actually. I forgot caffeine makes me sleepy. Doesn't wake me up like most people. It does the opposite. I have pre-workout up there. It's got enough caffeine in it to jumpstart an elephant's heart. And I take it, and 20 minutes later I start yawning. Instead of, being like, let's go! I think I've cut everyone's questions that they asked, and Darryl as well. James is late to the party, but everyone with the name James is bloody awesome in my book, because I'm biased. And if you're still around, trying to get my mouse in the right spot. Kenton, you're still around, mate, and you're interested or wondering. Yes, 2 of my rings are RFIDs. James Randolph, you want to jump on and say hi for a second, jump on the Discord. Unless you're busy. And if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to. You can keep your camera covered and just have audio. And you missed out on us discussing DALP OnlyFans. So we're going to buy some little desktop fans and stick a DALP logo in them. But, yeah. So in order for us to be able to better do content for you, because at the end of the day, the content is for you. As much as I love producing content, I do. But the information is out there for you. Topics you want covered, we don't know. I can't read minds. I don't have telepathic powers, because they're pretty pathetic if I did have them. But yeah, content you want covered, let us know so we can do it for you. As I was saying earlier, content has dropped right down because I've been busy doing the... To spot my phone, I have to reinstall Discord. Of course you do. That's alright. Next time. I will organise a live stream chat with you, James, if you're up for it. 2 J's on camera. That'd be awesome. I would love one day to get a panel going on the Discord server. So when more people join the private Discord server, it would be pretty interesting, I reckon. And you can let me know if we did a live stream with like 4 or 5 or 6 people to discuss discuss stuff. Like a round table situation. I reckon it'd be pretty good. And that, so I know I keep plugging it, but we really highly do recommend joining the private Discord server. Just saying, stuff we can't put up on YouTube, we talk about on there. Great place for knowledge. A lot of very knowledgeable guys on there. Or people, I should say. And yeah, you can access it through the website, through the monthly subscription, or through the channel memberships. The second level for the YouTube channel memberships. So yeah, highly recommend. And yes, I will notify everyone when the courses are done as soon as I finish doing these bans for Deviant. So if you're in the US and you want to get a band a lot faster, you can head over to Red Team Tools. Deviant will have some more in stock soon because he's almost sold out the first half of the order. because he sells through them so quick, and each one takes me about an hour and a half to make. So, and I never go anywhere without mine. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up because it has been nearly 4 hours. But planning on doing some more live streams, a round robin chat, one with James, one with Darryl, and anyone else that wants to join in that's on there. Massive thank you to everyone who stuck around and tuned in and watched. I hope you've learnt something. Don't forget, send in your photos of the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to security around, so we can actually get some content in to do a video on, rather than just all the stuff that Darryl and I come across. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Really do bloody appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, and make sure you turn notifications on when you're subscribed. Don't have to be sorry, James. It's all good, mate. So, yeah, that helps support our channel. It really does. The more that you push our name and our brand out there, the better information that we can bring you. And, yeah, check out the links in the description down below. Don't forget to check out our private Discord server if you're interested, the Dark Arts one. Don't forget to check out DALP.com.au, where you can get your hands on some awesome bloody products. I know, because I make 90% of them. There's only a couple, and they're Aussie made. There's only a couple that I have to order in from overseas because they don't get produced here, and I can't build those items. But setting up a wall of shame in the workshop for things I had to correct. Sounds good. Yes, we'll probably have an announcement about a new product in a few weeks to a couple of months. Stay with us for that one, because it'll be big, like big for Aussie people. And any other information that we bring out to you. So, till next time, stay safe. If you're in the cold, stay bloody warm. And as always, remember, keep bloody legal. Till next time, cheers, guys.